All right, we're back. Episode 101. Wait, we cracked over the double digit mark, triple digit.
The thing. Triple digits. Mate.
Triple digits, yeah.
Triple digits.
Congratulations. So, yeah. Thank you guys. So tonight we've got Jaydream on, we've got Paul, and we've got Aaron on. Filth and Pleasure, right? You prefer to go on to Filth Pleasure?
Yep.
No?
Yep. Not as my everyday name, but mainly for DJing. It's a bit weird introducing yourself at a kid's school or something.
I'm Filth and Pleasure.
Paul then.
Here we go.
Here come the jokes.
He seems alright. Your babysitting name or something.
And so the shirts you guys got on as well, Concept. Yep. So let's start the ball off with that. So what's Concept?
So Concept started. So my partner Rebecca Tomasi, she goes under Tomasi. We're huge trance and techno fans, and so basically we went over for a trance event over to Sydney, and we went to Good Bar on Friday night. And Beck knew one of the DJs there, Ludovic, playing. So this was like pre-COVID. February, just before it all
back in the good days.
Yeah, back in the day.
Like, just go out and enjoy yourself and stuff.
Yes.
That's it, yep.
So we had the trance event on the Saturday night, which was Transmission, and so we thought we'll go out on the Friday night. There's a 12-hour techno event on. So we thought, we know the lineup. We've seen some of the lineup DJs that were playing in the past. So we thought, it's pretty good. We'll go check it out. And we went in, and it was in this underground, low LED ceiling nightclub, I think called Good Bar. And we thought, wow, it kind of inspired us like straight away. And I just said to Beck, look, wouldn't it be awesome if there was something like this in Perth? And Beck was like, this would be so good if it was in Perth. And like, I think they were playing the heaviest techno. It was like, midnight, and it had only just opened like an hour in, and they were playing like 135 techno, just going really hard. And it was just like, it was just a really cool vibe and energy. But we just didn't really find that we had a venue at the time that suited. We needed a bar like Good Bar, or something similar to that. And then 3 months later after that, something like that, Goodwill opened up underneath the Wretch Bar. So we thought, what a perfect opportunity. And so, basically the name concept we were sort of deciding on what to call it. And then we thought, so many people have different versions of what a genre is or what our understanding is. So basically we thought, we'll put a team of DJs together, a crew together, and it's their concept of what they think techno is, their version. So basically then we came up with concept.
That's a good way to do it, though, because there's so many subgenres in genres these days.
If you don't know techno, everyone just has an assumption that techno is just do, and that's it. There are so many subgenres to it.
Yeah, I mean, it's always hard when you are really trying to come up with a solid branding that's going to be the direction.
It's a really good name.
So one of our DJs on the lineup, Khan, we threw it all in his hands because he's a graphic designer. We're like, can you make us a logo, make us something really good. And so poor guy, he was like, cool, I'll come up with something. And we had a few like little back and forths, and then we came up with concept, and that's how it's turned out. So
because it's only started last year, right? Or
we just recently had our 1 year anniversary. So
congratulations.
1 year going through, like we've been pushing through like all the COVID time as well. So
but it's good that you guys have come out, after the whole COVID thing and still kicking kind of thing.
I mean, we've just tried to do what we can do, work within what we have access to. And, we knew that the clubs were working at half capacity and things like that. But to be honest, that we were okay with that, I guess, because we were sort of figuring out what we wanted to do.
Yeah.
Where, we wanted to work out what our DJs were going to be playing because, I was leaving that up to them to let them decide what they wanted to play. It was just trying to sort of see. So we were kind of okay with half capacity in case no one turned up anyway.
You could blame coach.
Blame capacity.
That's it.
So that's basically we were okay with the COVID situation at that time, and we thought,
we ended up sold out anyway, didn't they? We ended up packed.
Even at half capacity, we just thought, I've gone to events in the past and there's been 30 people there. I'm like, so we were just like happy to start small, but just get good crew people coming in, good culture starting off. And I mean, it's hard to build something from nothing. So that's why we chose the DJs that we did choose for the lineup and the crew. So we could work together really well and just gradually build.
Get the following and then build the brand kind of thing.
Yeah, every 2 months we were sort of doing events, which was
good mix of people as well, isn't it? It's like, so you got a good variety of techno.
Yeah.
So we all do slightly different styles, but also with the rotation that the girls have set up, we all kind of play at different times rather than your usual spot.
Yeah.
Like me and Aaron played first, didn't we? The one before, the one just gone.
Yeah. Never done a warm-up set in your life?
I've 22 years in, I've never played first or second in my life.
Really?
So it was cool to get to do that, like to
just experience
find music that would be appropriate for them.
Yeah.
So just well out of where I normally do it. Same with Aaron. So it's nice. I listen to that sort of music, but I just don't DJ it.
Yeah. No, that's fair.
It's a really good challenge.
Yeah.
So how did you guys get involved with this whole lot then? Like, how do you guys know Jay and stuff?
Duffs, really, innit? Mainly. Like, we kind of, the beginning of like Duffs expanding their music a bit, it was kind of like there was a gang of us, and we were like the kind of the techno and the tech house kind of people in a big gang of psytrance in the Duff scene. And then we slowly started getting sets and then kind of better sets at different times and growing it. And
But you were mainly involved with God Said No.
Yeah.
That's how I sort of really got to know you, because
so Blaze and
you
Swan.
booked me for God Said No.
I booked you for all of them.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. And so I think that's how we originally sort of started to
But
work.
I mean, that's only once a year with the Blazing Swan. But then when we started to go out to the Duffs and stuff, then kind of bringing our music there. And over the last 3 or 4 years, just the Duff scene's expanded a lot with different side stages or different types of music as well. So it's really grown. And it's been really good to watch that. So I mean, a lot of the time that we hang out is like Duffs or Blaze, isn't it? But I mean, Duffs, the three of us are always close together on the lineups, mainly. Yeah. In like, we are the little techno pod that they kind of put in their sets and stuff on their lineups for
Well, see, that's what I've been saying to quite a few people in the last couple of podcasts and stuff, where it's like the bush duff scene, it's really on the up and up. People,
it's epic.
People don't want to go to clubs and spend $20 just for an average Saturday night out, unless it's like a specific event, or it's like, people have been hyping up something, or, international artists or this or that. But, when you go to the same club every Saturday, people buy the, spending money on drinks and the whole lot. It is. Completely different culture. Yeah,
it's a mini festival you can fit in your weekend.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
It really is, and it's a different culture, and people ain't there to pick up, and people ain't there to get drunk as much.
Yeah,
people are there. You've driven in the middle of the woods on a map that you found out the day before and had to get there in the dark, through potholes, wondering if your car's going to break. Because you love music. You're not going there because you want to try and meet a chick or get drunk and pass out somewhere. You're in the middle of the bush.
And sometimes we've driven out like 2 hours, haven't we? Just to go and play a set and then go and leave and middle of nowhere. But
the setups is like, it's basically like Blossom and basically like Blazing Swan. It's the same sound system, and the effort some of these crew are putting in now with the 3D mapping, lasers, smoke machines, projectors.
It's just next level,
It's hot air, man, and it's in the woods, and then the sun comes up. That experience of the music going with the sun coming up and down, it's really changed my style of music. So when I play, it's fully governed by the temperature and what time it is. Do you know what I mean? And you don't do that in England. It's always indoors and it's cold outside, but you ain't got to leave for ages, so you play what you want because you're in a dark venue. But when you're out in the bush and the sun's coming up, you adapt your music to suit the sun rising and the sun setting, and to be out there and you with all your mates and the sun comes up, it's epic. Every time, I mean, I've done it hundreds of times, and every time it never gets anything other than just great. You're just happy to be there. Yeah. And you don't get that in clubs.
That's it. It's just an experience, and it's an adventure in itself kind of thing, right?
Like, I've
trying to find it. And
so many clubs and really good ones all over the place. And they're amazing too, but there's nothing like being in nature, I feel. And the little venues that Perth has, or the handful of good venues that Perth has, once you've done them a few times, it's time to go and explore and get out to bush.
That's it, yeah. I 100% agree with that.
You can play a bit heavier too.
That's exactly it. It's free for all.
Yeah, you're not restricted in that. That's sort of why I started going up bush, so I could play a little bit more trance. Heavier techno.
Yeah, you get a chance to and we're good friends with the promoters for a lot of these things as well. And if we want to play a little bit outside of what we normally play, we've only got to ask, and they'll put us where that suits. And it's a great chance to not only play like new music on an amazing sound system, but also hear some like the music that I hear at Duff's. It's fully put me on so many other tangents of music, like being inspired by like that sound at that time. And it's like I've dug into like the psychedelic techno, I've dug into like bass house, this, that, and other stuff.
Sci-tech.
Yeah,
you're playing a real variety of like sci-tech sort of stuff now, which is really different.
Like stuff. Now I just literally play how I'm feeling. Like none of the kind of prepping a set. I'll just turn up and depending on.
Well, he's definitely the filth in the pleasure.
I'll just be more like just how I'm feeling then, what the crowd's like, what you're doing. It's like cool. Right, let's go through these folders and that, and get to experiment loads more. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, I ain't done one for ages, so I'm gagging to get out there. I've missed the last few.
Yeah, the Duff scene. The Duff scene like changed. Now I look at it now, like in retrospect, it changed my life. like I didn't realise that I can looking at it back at the time. The events in the clubs I was going to gave me a lot of anxiety. I used to get a lot of social anxiety going to events and pubs in general. You know, just to go to the pub for a load of pints and something. I did it, but I really didn't enjoy it at all.
Yeah, okay.
And other little corporate events and stuff I used to go to, used to really hate them. And then I went to a duff when I first came over with my mate Gavin McGowan, and it was one that Drew set up actually. Shout out Drew. Yeah, shout out to Drew. It was a May the 4th one, so it was a Star Wars themed.
Oh, okay, that would have been
amazing.
awesome.
Yeah, Alliance crew set up. It was wicked. And then years later, I decided I wanted to dip back into it. So there was a God Said No fundraiser, which essentially is a duff, because Drew and Tim were kind of connected into that scene. I went to one, and I'd been dipping in because I had like a 12-year break from DJing, and when I went to this duff, you know, I was used to listening to a lot of deep house, which was kind of doing the rounds at the time. That's what I was into. But I went to this duff, and then I see a load of people, and there were, you know, a lot of duff people wearing sort of like the duff clothes and stuff, and then all of a sudden these two lads jump on. One of them, like, there was like a duo, and this lad here in his t-shirt going for it was like
being an absolute
load of tech house. It was a mix between tech house, electro, techno,
it's like rolling kind
wicked
of
music,
rolling
so
party stuff.
Yeah, that's it. Party
rolling
electronic.
energy
for a decade, like that kind of music with that kind of energy. So then the next God Said No fundraiser I went to, I saw Jay, and Jay was playing the stuff that I was dipping into, a lot of Metodi Histroff stuff, stuff on Set About Records, and it was one of the best sets I'd heard in so many years. So I went over to Jay after she finished. Kid set, and my other good friend Murray. Did she play before you, or?
Yeah, Murray was playing before me, or she played after.
Yeah, Murray. She's been Girl London. She's been on there.
It was a God Said No. Yeah.
Wait, who?
Girl London.
Yeah.
Oh, Girl London. Yeah.
She played that duff as well. And I'd already got a bit of a man crush with Paul and his music, and Craig as well. Craig, the two of them played wicked together, and I thought, oh no, I won't go over. And then you came over and said hello to me, so I was just like, oh, wicked, mate. I started talking about DJing and stuff, and then put a mix out to Tim, who runs God Said No, and he didn't give me a set at God Said No, but he gave me a set at Blossom one, and then that's how all of us lot kind of all
That'll
just
do.
Yeah,
That's it.
Got your
foot in the door.
Yeah,
I'm
it was
happy to
actually
do that.
so the whole point of me getting back into DJing, the whole point was to eventually play for God Said No, and it was Paul that gave me a set at Blazing Swan this year, which was Sunrise came up when I was playing my last tune over the Salt Lake. Have you been to Blazing Swan?
No, I really want to go there.
Oh, man.
Well, that
Seems
Salt Lake
amazing.
is to die for.
It's just get
it's
your
some
weirdest
shit to think about
clothes and just rock up for a week and just cruise
party.
around, man.
All
It's
shorts
just-
on a t-shirt.
It's yeah. Short shorts. But yeah, no man, it's epic. It's like you can go there in any way you want. You can go there and just get loose, or go there and just enjoy people's company, or just wandering around. And just so many people, so many pods of people. I've been involved, like we've got to know since the beginning. With Blazing Swan since the beginning of, like, well before he was at Cooling. It was in the sand dunes, and then up in the hills, and before they got to Cooling, and watching it grow. So I started off with just God Said No, which is we used to put it out onto the Salt Lake, and built a bridge out there. So Louis and all these scaffolder boys and stuff, they built a scaffold over this marshland bit to get to the Salt Lake.
Really?
And then it was just like, oh man, I played a couple of like 12-hour sets on it. Just getting
standard.
Just getting
Actually, I had
sand
to make
blasted.
them leave.
I've done quite a few like that over the years, but it was just out in the middle of nowhere, and you're just getting the wind cutting you to pieces, and then just getting sunburned like
And it's a
2 hours
weird
later.
feeling. It's a weird thing looking out at the Salt Lake, isn't it?
Oh, it's weird.
Because it looks like you don't know what.
It's like a mirror.
It's
It's like
just-
a mirror sometimes.
It's just bizarre to
But
look at. It's
that
beautiful.
whole thing was because Burning Man is on a Salt Lake.
Yeah.
So they was just kind of recreating that. But then they're like, nah, bring it inland. This is hectic, and it was a long walk. But then watching like Alliance crew turn up and build a bloody Millennium Falcon.
Yeah, that's
and
it.
then
Yeah.
watching like
Yeah,
the
shout
lab
out to
rock
the
up,
Alliance
and
crew,
then and then like a Bird's Nest with their big dome. All the people that have come
The
there,
amount
they've
of
got
work.
inspired, and they're like, do you know what? Next year I'm gonna do this and this and this, and you just watch bands of people just get together and just put on epic things for everyone. So like the last place, you're just walking out of one venue, like God to know pyramid, into like a big dome, like a massive
that's the
plastic
Bird's
dome,
Nest, yeah.
and then so
You've
No
played
shit.
quite a few times in the Bird's Nest, haven't you?
yeah, I've played them all of them now.
Yeah.
I remember coming out. I came out of the lab, and I played
the
a
lab, yeah.
I played a
The lab
sci-fi
was-
set in the lab.
I remember that set. It was freezing that night. Oh my god.
Yeah, I played in there, and Craig didn't want to play,
Oh.
so I'm like, "Nah, fuck it, then I'm playing on my own." So I played a sci-fi set.
Oh, it was amazing.
And then we were supposed to go and play in the Bird's Nest, and it was like housey. And I'm like, I can't be arsed with house. And we walk in there, there's like 4 girls topless dancing on the DJ booth, and I'm just like, go on in, fuck it. Changed my
Lovely.
mind. So I went in there, and I went from like psytrance into house. Now my psytrance mixing, I just overlay them for like the whole tune, because they sound fat, and you can. And I went in there, and I've gone down from like 148 down to like 122.
Yeah,
And
wow.
my first tune, I mixed house together the same way as I mixed psytrance. So Craig's like, "What the fuck you doing, man?" Like, you just overlap both
Calm it down
vocals
a
all the way through. I'm like, "Oh yeah, no, house." So, but it's such a great experience just to be able to go from literally walk like 100 meters and you're in a whole different experience.
I
You know
think
what
didn't
You're-
the lab won best sound camp that year. The lab is with Shannon,
Yeah,
Caroline,
that was
and
pumping in there,
Bree,
wasn't it? That was
and,
their line of rave.
I've
wasn't it?
never seen people work so hard. Like when
Yeah,
I didn't actually
well.
know. So Shannon, he
Yeah,
was actually
he came on
he was
here
on here for
before.
the Blossom, and so they asked me to go down and play, and oh my god, I walked in and just the visuals and the setup, and I walked in and I was like, oh my goodness.
I mean,
It was just they worked tight.
Even at 10, it's
just
just like no nonsense, just like that black dome, and inside just done up classy, fat sound, and it's just you're there for the sound, you know what I mean? And it's just banging, and then you can go into the Bird's Nest, and it's just like a big outdoor kind of party vibe, you know what I mean? And everyone's just like housey, and then you walk across the road to God Said No, and it's just that thumping Function 1 with just chunky tunes and everyone up on the stage, and so to have that for a week, you know what I mean?
Just sounds
And
amazing.
then you just get a random person tap you on the shoulder and see if you want an ice cream, and it's like, what? So like people are just wandering around just gifting things. That's what like the culture is. So
Because they don't have money, do they? It's all like trading
mate,
system, right?
It's gifting service,
You could get dropped there by accident and you'd be fined for a week.
Yeah.
Legit. You know what I mean? You would get looked after. You probably wouldn't even
Look
need to
after you better
try.
than yourself.
Everywhere you walk, people are cooking food, handing it out, doing stuff. You could crash out wherever. Just everyone's just on the same team.
That's so good, though.
It's an experience. It's to take away the money and to create that culture of just try to gift. The minute you experience it, you get it. Just some random person just comes over here to be nice and give you that and make your day and wander off. And you're like, fucking, like, you don't even mug me or nothing. Like, I've got no money on me anyway. What does this mean? And you're like, shit, people are just being really nice. And it's like, I want to do that. And you watch that grow over time. So it started off smaller and you watch it get bigger, and then just these epic stages start getting built by people that are putting in to build these stages and to put them up and to putting them down, because you've been up a week, you know what I mean? And like the pack down's a bitch. But the effort these people put in is all for people just to enjoy themselves.
Yeah.
And you don't get that
Well,
as
culture.
much when it's money. Do you know what I mean? Because you're just paying for a service.
That's exactly
When
it. Yeah.
someone's doing it without wanting something back, it means a lot more. And it's just a great experience. So definitely book it off and get yourself there, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm trying to book it off. Well, I'm trying to go with a group of mates. Hopefully next year if we can.
Oh, 100%. You got to do it.
That's why they do the fundraisers.
Even
like,
if you went on your own, mate, seriously.
Yeah.
You
just
would-
meet heaps of people
Oh,
and
yeah.
just
There
fit
would
in.
be
Like,
no issue with going on your own.
Yeah.
I mean,
None.
we've all gone out on our own to do
I
this
go,
at some point.
I go to
and
do stuff all the
they're-
time on my own. If my missus is working, then I'll just go on my own. Doesn't matter. It's just you're just not used to doing that.
Yeah.
But you're getting to somewhere where everyone's there. Who you're there with is irrelevant. I could go there with 30 people. I still end up wandering around chatting on my own.
That's
like
it. Yeah.
who I turn up with doesn't matter. You just end up wandering around, and like in the winter, once the fires are going and stuff, the chats you have around them, everyone's trying to keep warm. So whoever you're standing next to, you're chatting away. You meet the best people, and it's such a music brings together cultures that wouldn't normally mingle.
That's it, yeah.
Like you could be chatting to someone that's jobless and someone that's a surgeon, and all three of you are having a chat. In normal society, you wouldn't be sitting there having that chat. So music just gets rid of what goes on midweek and gets everyone there, and strips that away. And it's great. I think it's really healing. You know what I mean?
I personally, like with techno, I've been really inspired mainly from a lot of the doof techno DJs.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, so like TT, who plays out a lot.
He plays everything.
He's amazing. You know, and just being around like a lot of the strong techno community is in the bush as well. So that was sort of really inspiring. When I first started playing doofs, I didn't know anybody. I was just going out on my own, playing a like 2-hour techno set at like 5 o'clock, and then after that was like all psytrance. I didn't even really know you guys. But at that point I was willing to go and do anything for just to be able to play techno.
And get your foot in the door kind of thing.
Yeah, and so that obviously, like with concept, you know, like I've said to the guys, I sort of, we don't really want to go with the whole underground thing or anything like that, but we just want people to experience techno. And like it be played well and played with experience.
Understand how many different variations.
And that's right. Like and you know, like I'm not a major fan of hip hop or whatever, but if you see Mishap play,
that's
or
exactly
you know,
it.
I learned
Shout
off
out
Zeke.
Jess.
Shout out to Jess. And then I learned off Zeke Beats, and he is just the most amazing trap DJ I've ever seen in my life. But if it's played well and people experience it in person and they get that exposure to it, that's how it grows.
That's exactly it.
People want to like sense of belonging, and they want to, you know, get to know people and get familiar with something and understand it that way. So, you know, you don't always look up YouTube and go, oh, that's really cool. That's really awesome. Sometimes it's that in-person experience.
You got to feel it.
And how you embrace it. You got to feel it. And so that's, you know, like we don't really always care about having a lot of people at events, but as long as they're good people and they're right ones.
But that's the thing as well, is like if they leave the event and say, oh, well, we had a great time, and it wasn't really that busy, but we just had an amazing time, they're more than likely to come back and keep going to all the events. And that's how it works. It's just a snowball effect kind of thing.
That's how you build a brand. Build a brand. Just do what you do from your heart and do it well. And
just have fun.
The people that enjoy that, then you're onto a winner.
That's
and
exactly
it. Will grow. Like all the things that I've ever watched grow over the years, and friends that have run events and stuff, you do it because you want to be front and centre and experiencing that. And if you get to create that, then that's your best representation of showing people what it is you love.
That's it.
Right.
But when people do it for money, or they just try and run an event, I used to watch people back home run events, and they don't want to listen to that music, and they don't care about the important parts of it. They just how many people through the door,
that's
how much money you can save on decorations, how much money you can save on the sound, to get everyone in there, to get them to pay as much as they can. And it's like, that you're doing it wrong, man. Like, lower the price as much as you can and get the best sound system you can, make it the best you can for you to be in the middle of that dance floor and having the best night of your life.
That's it.
And it will grow properly. But I mean, and all of us.
There wasn't a lot of venues that were willing to like have techno in the venues as well, which I understand from a business perspective. It could be sort of quite risky. So
it's just, Perth is just in a weird bubble where it's just so commercial. Like,
I thought it was because when I first moved here, I got here 12 years ago, and I legit thought it was just shipping issues with vinyl. Because it's like, why does everyone just want to listen to the fucking shit on the radio? It's like, you've heard that, it's shit, it's all day. Surely you want something else. And I was just thinking they just must not be able to get the music here. And once everything become digital and nothing shifted that much, it's like, are you serious?
Exactly,
Like, just go online, man, and just find an artist that you like, see what they play, and then you can buy it. Just like,
I think it's more fear around that kind of music though, around people buying drinks and stuff as well in clubs. I think that has an element to it. You know, like people coming off the street, if it's more commercial music, people coming off the street are going to get in, buy drinks, and for a lot of clubs, selling drinks is what makes the money.
That's it,
Not really the ticket prices. So, you know, people might be coming in, listening to a bit of techno, listening to a bit of trance, you know, doing what they do when they listen to a bit of techno and trance, and they're not selling as many tickets. Not as many drinks. Do you know what I mean?
Different genres sell more alcohol.
That's exactly it.
But I think
it's a big aspect for venues.
I think a lot of the venues are competing now. There is a lot of bush events, but there's also a lot of warehouse parties.
And the warehouse parties are popping off, honestly.
So I mean, it gets a bit complicated. That
it was busy.
Yeah.
There's like over 1,000 people in that warehouse.
What? Whereabouts? Well, we probably can't disclose it. Right?
No, it's a secret place.
Yeah, secret.
Yeah, secret location between the three of them.
It's
Just a rotation of secret locations.
it's a secret from me because I just follow my Google Maps. I literally, people ask me where stuff is and I'm like, I don't know. I just copy and paste that in there and then I follow that blue arrow.
That's the way to do it.
I don't even look up enough. I'm just normally doing something else, playing the boys, doing something on my phone, or you look up and you're there. Yeah.
But still,
from north or south.
The scene is always changing. I mean, drum and bass has always been quite dominant, but yeah, we just kind of thought with the concept, like we picked the DJs that we did because we knew they had a sort of strong following or they were strong in that genre and good with the team, good to work with. So yeah, so far so good.
no.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really, really good.
Yeah.
So what other events have you guys got coming up, or like?
So we just recently, we recently had, we hosted Tim, anonymous prankster who runs Blossom.
Yeah.
And the reason why we chose Tim as a guest, we've also had Kinemal as a guest, but we chose Tim because he's been quite influential, just not in our doof scene, but in our club scene as well. So, you know, obviously he's mentored me a lot over the years when I've probably known Tim about maybe 4 or 5 years now. Maybe
Wow.
4 years. And so he always invests his time talking to me and just helping me out with different things. And, you know, he gave me my first ever God Said No set. It was like 4 o'clock in the afternoon in the middle of nowhere. And I was like, this is so sick. I was like, really happy. And he didn't really know me at all, but we just clicked. We just got along really well. So went out to this like dress up God Said No doof. I think it was like a Viking theme one or something
Was
like
this
that.
a fundraiser?
It was I think it was
Not
a
a blaze.
fundraiser. No, it wasn't Blaze.
Yeah.
It was it was a bush doof. And so
they've
that's
done the New Year's ones and stuff as well.
it was like over New Year's, I think. And
That's
so
where I met Murray, I think.
that's it was
first
like
time.
around that time. And so I know that Tim's had like a huge impact on our scene at Tayons and God Said No, and then moving on to Blossom, and you know, and so we just thought, you know, let's host him, like he deserves it, and he works his bloody ass off with Blossom.
Yeah,
I couldn't
he's
even on
literally a
a small
local
scale
legend.
running events,
he's done
like
well.
you realise like there's so much work involved. So yeah, we had like a really, really good turnout and we were happy with that. But again, it's not so much about the amount of people, like
It's just the vibe, right?
yeah,
The
we just
atmosphere.
picked a melodic lineup of DJs that we just thought, you know, we're gonna move around with the concept sound of sort of, you know, do a melodic or whatever it is, and good people going there and having a good time, and everybody played amazing sets, and it was just a good night. We had it at Solace Bar Metros, and we're also hosting. We're doing the rooftop stage concept. Rooftop stage for New Year's Eve there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
Metro City then? Or
We're doing it with transition. So
Transition,
so
okay.
it's going to be 3 levels. They're going to have hard style and trance and techno. And
No shit.
it's
That's
going to be
awesome.
hectic.
So we're going to be the slowest one. I
yeah.
don't know how I feel
So,
about that. I've never really been in that category before.
so they're doing like a Sunfall exclusive pre-party outdoor rooftop before, which I'm playing on, and then from 9 o'clock onwards we will host the rooftop stage with trance and techno, because a lot of our guys are trance DJs as well. So yeah, that was a really that was great for us to get that opportunity on New Year's Eve. I mean, I know that they run massive events.
That's it,
And
yeah.
Metros is massive, and something different. So we've done a few side stages. We did one for Paradigm Trance. So that was really good. That was the rooftop at Wretch Bar.
Okay.
Hello Rooftop Bar.
Yeah.
And we've also done the side stage for Twisted Jar, which was really good, where we just got our stage all night, just did techno.
Where was Twisted Jar hosted?
That was out in the bush.
In the bush as well.
But yeah, I mean, that grew from like, it used to just be a chill stage.
Reggae, they're like a reggae chill.
Yeah. and then one weekend,
It was TT, like Craig and that day.
one weekend we got Craig to, we got Gav to go and get his speakers and his mixer and put them in the thing, and we upped it and
Just took over it.
Just took it over and just started banging out Tech House, and TT loved it, and then he started playing, and then he's like, should we get that going some more for that? And then he's just like, well, do you want to host the side stage? And it's like, yeah, cool. So I got all the crew down for one night, and then Jay hosted it another night, and now Yanji Beats are hosting it, the next one coming up, isn't they?
Yep.
So it's like a lot of our mates now, we're getting our own stage and a good sound in it as well. They're bringing some of the Function One subs and stuff over from the main stage. So they're doing well to work into making it a multi-genre kind of scene rather than just being a one stage. And if you don't like that music, you just go to bed and listen to it in your tent. Because you ain't getting away from them function ones. So to have another stage, people have a choice is good.
It is. Yeah, we hosted it with me and Neve. Swan. Big shout out to Neve. Hosted it for Wild Child not so long ago. And
we've all done one now.
We've all done one now. It is wicked because if you're not loving that side trance or whatever's going on, it could be techno and they might be playing side trance in the side stage. And the sound system in there is really wicked, and it's got a tent and it's a little bit more intimate. It's fantastic. Yeah.
So you did really well with the melodic techno stuff at Wild Child as well. You've had, the techno went off there, which was really.
People.
I didn't make it to that one, but it was. I see pictures. It was going off in there, wasn't it? It was rammed.
You mean in the side stage that we did? Yeah, it was really good. So it's kind of like Wild Child's more not really connected to any genre as per se. Probably inspired a lot by.
Yeah, but even in the warehouse.
Oh yeah. But the techno night that you guys and myself played at God Said No is heavily inspired by that kind of vibe, really. Wild Child. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I run the God Says Techno at Blazing Swan.
God Says Techno, okay.
Yeah, God Says Techno.
We run different nights at Blaze with God Said No. So
you get like a different night each. Well, people run a different night or whatever. And I've always done the Saturday, and last one I done it on the Sunday to the God Says Techno. So it's been kind of tech house into techno all night, rather than and then slowly progressing up through the night. And it's worked really well, and it does. Got a good following there now, and Jay's always had Jay playing there, and we got Aaron there as well at the last one. And
Aaron smashed out a techno set. What was that? 5:30 a.m. It was just like, I
said to Paul, I was like, you looking forward to playing? I was like, I don't think there's gonna be many people there, and he was like,
you ain't been here before.
And there was a lot of punters still there, and it was great, and it was
and you went hard. That was good.
Steph or Badass. Yeah, she played there for the first time. I got her to play bass house, and she's like, I don't think there's going to be many people there because it's opening. I'm like, it fucking will. As soon as you turn that on, like, because it's the biggest system there. Just everyone knows when that's on. Do you know what I mean? And once you're in there, you're playing the right music, and just the crowd feels in that pyramid, and it's just great.
Yeah. I think like the team that we have with Concept, everybody's got that sort of background where they've been playing trance or they've been in the techno scene, which has really had a huge influence jumping from the club to the doof. And we sort of do go back and forth, which I think is good. Like, it's good influence for.
It's healthy for you to have that movement. I mean, all the genres that I play now. Loads of them have kind of come into play because of doofs and events like that, and you just got such a broader range, and a lot of your interest in different genres comes from hearing people playing it at these kind of events.
It's the influences kind of thing.
Like I've been at like Blossom and Blaze and stuff a few times, and doofs, and you hear something and you're like, go and have a chat with them. What genre is that under? Can you give me some artists or some producers for that? And then it begins your rabbit hole dive into just then finding out, and then you just got whole new like subgenres of different categories. So it's good to broaden your kind of what you're into. I've done it a lot. It's good.
I have done well. So, were you going to say anything?
Nah, just going,
Oh, brilliant.
It's very enthusiastic.
That's it.
Couldn't say it better myself,
I got to ask, though, Paul, where did you start DJing? Like, how did you get into it? Because, like, the story you told me earlier, like...
Probably organising the raves in primary school.
It's like, you're a party boy by the sounds of it.
Just a bit, back home, fucking hell.
They actually call him Geezer. That's Geezer's nickname.
My nickname in England was Mad Paul.
Mad Paul.
And I legit earned that name and all.
Good.
I used to live in a big house with Craig and another mate Ben and my now ex-wife, and we had a big house and we used to have big parties in there all the time, and we had decks on the first floor. All the boys, two of the boys mixed. Craig and Thingy already mixed. I didn't mix. I was too busy dancing and chatting shit but then whenever we had a party, all the boys would end up behind the decks. I'm a chippy, and I built a big curved deck stand, sunk all the turntables in and CDJs, and it opened that into, we had a big dance room that was the dining area, and that opened out to a big kitchen, to a big garden. We just had massive parties in there, and everyone always hung out behind the back of the decks. And I was like, for fuck's sake, and I'm just like, I'm going to end up having to learn. And I spoke about it, but I never really done it. And then one of my mates, He used to run he was a resident a club called The Fridge, big venue, and they had a side room, and they made up a rule that the residents all take it in turns to take over the side room. So he was living with us as well at the time, so I forgot about him, Danny as well. So there was 5 of us in this house.
So
and
who you know then?
Oh yeah, of course it is. Yeah, The Fridge. Classic.
Brixton.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it looks so run down. Look at it.
Oh mate, it was what a venue.
Wicked club, isn't it?
Honestly, like just yeah. I mean,
the
the
best
drugs
club for
probably
the gay
helped,
club,
but
isn't
it was great. It wasn't a gay club, was it?
The Fridge.
Nah.
Got a lot of gay nights in there.
Yeah, that explains a
Probably
few
was, he
things.
never even noticed.
Yeah, that's why I can't ride a bike anymore.
Coming on to all the time.
I think you end up with a boyfriend. Yeah, so one of my mates, he ended up just putting me on the lineup. And I'm like, what do you mean? He showed me the flyer. It's like, you're playing. I'm like, what? It's like, yeah, like 4 weeks time you're playing. I'm like,
We'll be playing on
can't.
100s or something.
Nah, vinyl. The CDs weren't out then.
What year are we talking?
You don't
Like,
know that.
back in
We're
my
going
day.
back 22 years.
Shit.
So he
okay.
basically put me on the lineup, and I'm just like, fuck,
Wow.
all right then. So I just went over this one set. I even remember what I'd done. I remember writing lines and putting marks on the vinyl, like just trying to get my head around what made sense. I'd done all the set, and it all went fine. It all went really well, apart from one time. This tune's just about to drop, and I jumped up like, yeah, and I need the bloody underside and the needle
So
come
no
off.
one
I'm like,
noticed. No one would have noticed anything.
no one noticed. But yeah, that's how it all started. And then I played a couple of forest parties for a friend for his birthday, Mark Docker, and Damien Gelly, who's DJ Tony Montana, who runs Electric Gardens T1000. He saw me playing there, me and Craig, and he's like, "Do you want to play on my boat?" And I'm like, just giving him shit, taking a piss. I'm like, yeah, no, I'm probably washing my hair or something. And I was just thinking, if he's gonna let us play, it's gonna be by the toilet or something. Do you know what I mean? It's like it's gonna be obviously because we're no one. And he put us on the main night after Fergie from Radio 1
Oh wow.
on an ocean liner to Germany. So I went from fuck all to that, and then after that we got booked.
So your little
for, like,
slip up didn't even matter, see?
yeah,
Made
so
an impression.
after that we got like booked for like things in Ibiza and just all venues all around the UK and everywhere else. So that's why I never got to play first. Literally, I skipped that bit somehow.
Yeah, just went straight into
I went
it.
straight into just like big events. Yeah, luckily. So and it worked out really well. We had loads of fun.
That's
so.
awesome.
That's how it all started for me. But we used to, the parties we used to have, the lineups for trance and stuff, all like BK and Nick Sentience and everyone else, just every weekend, just all the massive names that are playing the massive venues in between their gigs would just come to my house for a party. So the queue for a mix at mine was.
So you were actually behind the decks. You were that person that was just there mixing, not talking to anyone just behind the decks. Yeah.
What? Nah,
the
not
rules have
talking
changed.
Not talking, having a laugh. But yeah, I mean that was the beginning of. Then we started a mix, and the decks at home just used to go on at about 5 p.m. on a Friday night and turn off probably about 3 a.m. Monday morning.
Oh shit!
Without one tune getting missed, just from someone all the time. So I was always around it. So
That would have been just awesome.
You're just surrounded in vinyl, and then we started with CDs because a lot of our friends were producers. So you get a CD because it ain't out on vinyl yet.
Unreleased.
So then you get yourself like a CD, the 100s.
Yeah, see the
Yeah,
100s.
yeah,
Yeah, they're
CDs
just coming in now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you take one of them with you to play stuff that no one's got yet, or
Yeah,
you
so
get
you
like
just take your own.
yeah.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have them
That's
in
why
the
people
club.
always
So
ask.
literally,
yeah.
you just put that in your pocket,
That's what
basically.
people always
Oh, mate,
Underneath
it's
your
so
arm.
shit. That jog wheel.
It's like
That
a
jog
turning.
wheel was like it was floating.
Yeah.
Like you
Yeah.
touch it and it's like it's just going to fall everywhere. It's so unpredictable. They are the shittest things
So
ever.
it's pretty much like diff equipment now, really, isn't
Yeah,
it?
not
It's
far off.
2021 diff equipment, really.
Unless we
Whenever
bring
you,
our own,
I think that's why I don't really have any trouble mixing on stuff because I grew up mixing on that.
So, what's the Jet sound effect like, man? What are your sound effects?
It's what's it
what's
called?
it say? Jazz effect.
No, Jet.
Oh, jet.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
jet. It was like
Sounds
a-
like
What the fuck is Jet?
It was like a whoosh noise.
Yes, yeah.
It was fucking crap.
Jet's like a flanger, and zip is like a pitch effect.
One of them's like a
and the
whoosh
wah
noise,
The wah
yeah,
is
right.
a filter.
Yeah,
Like,
okay.
did you play on these as well, Aaron?
I skipped them So I skipped all them.
Done yourself a favour.
I played on vinyl, and then I quit DJing for 12 years. And then when I came back in,
It was the Nexus 2.
It was actually Nexus 2.
The $4,500 each.
You missed out on a lot of good ones. I remember the Denon ones where it would be like down at the bottom where it'd be like a long thin one, and you got to press the plus and the minus to speed it up and slow it down.
See,
And you put a CD somewhere else, and you just got this thin little piece. Fuck knows what it was.
Aaron and I, whenever we're in any doof chats or anything like that, or any DJ chats, we're like, what equipment's being used? Because Aaron and I are always on the same page. We play on the same like XDJ 1000s now or whatever, and we've gone out and had some horror experiences with some of the equipment, and it's just
challenge.
It can make
Turn up and figure it out.
we've struggled with some of the equipment over the years, haven't we? Especially out in bush. Oh, even clubs.
Yeah.
Some of the club equipment just gets absolutely flogged.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
You used to like, all the turntables, like where the belts get stretched, or just like you'd have them in, popping both channels up, loving it, big crowd, and then one of them just goes down about 4 BPM. It's like, fuck, are you doing? You're just trying to manually keep it in time with your finger. You're like, oh, what?
Wow.
So some of the, especially at the fridge, I remember the old turntables had in there, man. That was a battle. Keeping it in time was a constant. Every beat, you're earning it. You know, it's like a workout. You don't get it in like you do with digital stuff, and it's in there.
It don't stay locked in like.
No, it doesn't stay in. Unless, I mean, mine at home did. Keep them nice. I had a nice set of Mark 5s, limited edition 1210s. And where they just never left my house and they just looked after, they felt like it knew it was close, and when it was in, it just settled in, and it just pops and just stayed. But the minute they've been moved around, used different places, or more time on one than the other, they're just out of sync.
Yeah.
They need servicing. But yeah, I mean, it's always been a bit of a battle, like with equipment from back then. So like the hundreds was just a carry on from beat up club equipment, really.
Now you got the issue as well nowadays with software like coming into play.
That
causes its own issues with
firmware
tunes
software,
and the files and stuff.
The record box and stuff like that.
It's
and
only
making
like
sure it's
fucking
all.
secretary these days.
You can always tell when someone's illegally downloading if you play back to back with them, or even if you're taking over from them. It's a nightmare.
Well, how can you tell that they're legally downloading and stuff?
If it's not clear enough.
It doesn't.
Because an advert will come in.
One in warehouse. And a sale on fences. Getting it now.
Because the BPM will fluctuate. It doesn't stay set. So if you're playing back to back with someone, it's like 1 minute, it's like 126, and there's 1.1. It'll be 127.6, and then it's so you're trying to mix in, and you're like.
Or there's no WAV file.
$1.69, come on.
Come on,
You're no WAV or no information on the screen. And it's like, I don't put myself through record box. Shout out to Carl Drake. Fucking put your tunes in record box, you midget.
Lovely.
There are still some people that don't.
I've been giving him grief forever for that.
Well, see, I just use Tractor, so I don't use Pioneer or record box or anything.
Such a good piece of equipment.
Honestly, I love it. Like I've been
You're playing like long sets as well, though, don't you? Because you play quite regularly.
Yeah, like 6-hour sets in Scarborough and stuff like that. But it's all commercial, just crap. So it's good, but it's like every weekend, ABBA and Calvin Harris.
So you're that ABBA.
I love doing it though, because getting people to dance and smile and have a good time. That's what it's
as long as you like what you're playing.
Yeah.
Like I won't ever play something I don't like. Do you know what I mean? It's like because. It's my passion. Do you know what I mean? I would personally wouldn't want to make it a living, because you're then turning that into what you have to get to pay your rent, pay your mortgage, your life. So you're going to sacrifice things, you're going to play at stuff you wouldn't normally want to play at, or playing stuff you wouldn't normally want to play.
Well, it just
money.
It just depends on the gig of where I am in a way. Because I play at a place like Long Chimps. It's in the city in the state buildings, and so with that I get to play like mainly 60s to 80s kind of thing, but like classic rock.
It's all tunes you love. Epic, you know what I mean?
It's just when it comes into stuff like a Luna George and like the new like poppy kind of girly stuff, I don't mind it because girls get up and dance and everyone has a good time.
You love making that,
exactly,
giving people that feeling.
Exactly.
You mean you like Mervyn? Where's that twerk song?
Basically, that's like what happened on Sunday
I
night.
need to see a slut drop.
Yeah,
Where's that track?
It's hard, like, to play and present. It's very different between presenting a set and playing a set.
Just quickly, it's like quite surprising because on Sunday I rocked up to work really hungover, right, and I didn't expect it, but I also play. I hang out and play sometimes at the market grounds on Friday nights, right?
Yeah. And it's so busy there.
And it's so busy. But it was actually a staff party because it was one of the girls' birthdays, right? And so she's like Spanish. So she rocks up and she basically just starts like, "Are you playing? When are you getting on? When are you getting on?" I'm like, "Okay, yeah, I'm getting on now. Yeah, it's okay." And she basically spent, because I hotspot my phone and I actually go on my MacBook and then go on iTunes, buy the song and then import it in the tractor.
Oh my
And then play it
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
fly kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I literally spent about $25, $26 on this Spanish music I'll never play again. But the thing is,
Send her
like,
a bill.
every single time I played a track that she wanted, like, she just rock up with her phone, YouTube,
Yeah.
like, "Can you play this?" "Yeah, I'll play it." She just starts twerking. So I'm like, okay, let's just keep this going.
So she gave you what you wanted. And you
Providing
gave her
a
what you wanted.
service.
It's a mutual understanding.
Yeah, I
No wonder it was
guess,
like
yeah.
$20 worth of Spanish music.
Yeah.
That's
It's,
pretty
like,
cool.
it's worth a semi.
Well, that's what I mean, though, because then it's like,
But now you've done that, everybody's going to expect that of you.
Yeah,
Next
so
week it'll be
it's people- it's
Bollywood.
people like
Next
you.
week it'll be Bollywood. You'll be looking
I
at
have
it
had
like,
that before. I have had that. Like, I've had a few Indian guys come and say, "Oh, can you play this?" I'm like,
I don't want to see you twerk.
yeah.
okay, I'll
This
give it a
is-
go.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, though, because like if someone comes up and requests a song, then
Yeah.
it's just like, all right, I'll listen to it on my phone. Yeah, that's playable, and then
Yeah.
buy it for them, and then import it, and away I go, kind of
Yeah.
thing.
That's growth, really. That's how you're going to grow as a DJ.
The equipment now, I mean, what Brad come and bought off me yesterday, I bought a Denon Prime 4.
Oh, really?
I ain't got time to learn how to use it. And so I sold it. Brand new. I've played on it for like 2
I've
hours.
been playing on Pioneer since like
Forever,
fossil
since
years.
the beginning. So I've now got so many things I'm trying to sort out, like in my business and buying a house, something else. I ain't got time to learn that. So I got rid of it. But that, it just connects all to your Wi-Fi, and where I pay for the premium Beatport, so you can listen to the whole track, I can just play every single track from Beatport over my Wi-Fi.
No way. Okay.
From beginning to end, you just can't record it. So if you had one of them and you connected it to their Wi-Fi, and
Yeah, there you go.
then literally anything they say, you can just type it in and or just
Wait,
type
put
it in the
track down
touch
business.
screen and just play the whole tune.
Because I didn't think that was a thing for the Denon Prime. I thought it was
Yeah.
like
Man, that
the
thing
standalone
does
one, not
everything.
standalone, but the little laptop connected ones. But
Nah, nah.
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's
because
just
I
standalone.
heard news about that. And I thought, like, you know, when it comes to doing weddings, that would be perfect.
I mean, the Brad does that, doesn't he? So when I was chatting to him last night, he plays out at functions and stuff like that a bit.
Oh, this
So
one?
yeah, so the size of the screen, it's like a spaceship, man. It's a cool bit of kit. But I just can't be bothered to learn all that. I haven't even learned all the Pioneer stuff yet. Every single time I buy a set of like new CDJs or something, I'll keep one manual out and I'm like, I'm going to read this one this time. I reckon I've bought 8 sets. I've never ever fucking read that Bible.
Which is actually really weird because whenever, like, if I've supported internationals with techno, every time they come to Perth, they want zone mixes.
Really?
Just like, they're not so fussed about Pioneer as such being CDJs, but I think it's the output energy and the power
Okay.
coming through the zone 96 and the zone 92. And
Yeah, because I've heard that they're pretty decent mixers,
Yeah,
but I just
they're very
thought
good.
a mix
Yeah.
is a mixer almost. Like,
Yeah, I think it's-
there's no effects on them, really.
there's no effect, but you also
You have to like simultaneously hit the
Who did I
cue
play
to like
after?
hear through the headphones. So when I
yeah,
first
it's a pain, isn't it?
started,
That's what I was chatting to you about.
Yeah, so
I played after. Oh, I can't remember who it was now. At the Lookout, we done an event there.
Oh, really?
And I had someone there. We had a big name there.
What did you say it was? You told me, was it Dave Morales or something?
Yeah, Dave Morales. Yeah.
oh yeah, he's not that big.
And he wanted that. He wanted that mixer. And
requested
I played
album.
after him, and I'm just like, how the fuck does this? How do I listen to both tunes? And like pressing it, double pressing it, holding it 3 seconds, trying to press it both at the same time. I'm like,
Yeah.
fuck.
So the first time I used the zone, I had I was supporting Pig and Dan for Habitat, and I got there and I was early and I was on time and get up and I'm having a look and I'm like,
What's that?
I'm looking over, I'm like, oh, this is like, yeah, I was pretty early on when I first started DJing and I was booked to support them. So I was already quite nervous about that. And then I was like, what the hell mixer is that? I was like, it's a zone. So I'm like having a look on my phone, trying to suss out, looking at YouTube. And I'm like, oh. And Dan was really nice. And he actually said, all you need to know about this mixer is that in order to hear the headphones just simultaneously hit the cues just so you can hear through
Wish
both.
I had that.
Because otherwise you're like, they won't, like Pioneer, you can do Q and Q and hear both at the same time, just deactivate when you want. And that's all I wanted to know because I mixed through Q on my headphones. So it was like, and you'll be sweet. And he's like, and you don't need effects. It's all techno. Just go for it.
Which
and
one's
so,
that? Is he the blonde one or the,
no, he's the
dark hair?
bald-headed one. Yeah.
Yeah, dark hair.
Yeah.
I got smashed of him when I went back to London a little while ago.
Have you heard Pig and Dan before?
Yeah, I've got a few of their tracks, but
Amazing.
Back in
haven't-
techno.
Amazing.
To support Pig and Dan when you're not that experienced a DJ
big
is
deal.
it's a big deal.
So,
Yeah,
well
it's
done.
been, I think I've supported them 3 times now.
Yeah.
Have
So
they
like,
been around for quite a while? Or?
they've been around forever, but I think only Dan travels mainly.
Okay.
So yeah, he's been like, for me, techno wise, I was just, you know, Habitat were bringing over quite a lot of techno when I first started. You know, they brought Deborah DeLuca, Pick and Dan, and Pleasure Craft, and those sort of guys. I was just like, I absolutely love this. This is my jam. And Slam, when Slam came over, I was just like, oh my goodness. So yeah, it's been, and they're quite a variety of techno sounding artists. So yeah, it's sort of, I think that's quite the good thing about our team as well, is that we have some amazing melodic DJs, and then we've got some that can play like more the bouncy techno, and then we've just got like the harder stuff. So yeah, like even at our first birthday last time, the guys were, you know, Martin Tane, one of the guys, he's like, so Jay, can I play like 135, 136? And I was like, yeah, go for it, cool. And it was just like, doosh, doosh, oh my God. And he's from Scotland. So it's good to have that like influence as well, to have that variety of sound. And I think we had for our first birthday, I think we had over 300 people.
No way.
It was good.
Yeah, which was really good for a Friday night.
Yeah.
So
Well, in Geisha as well.
Yeah.
They've all been rammed
like,
then.
It was on Friday. And all.
Yeah.
it was
holy shit.
rotated through. So like
Yeah.
I think Geisha holds maybe 220.
It's
So through like all night, it was just so busy, and like the guys were just playing a real big variety, which was really good.
Yeah,
so,
we went for a lot. Went for a lot of different, and then Beck and Ray like brought it down again, didn't they? With so it's like a good journey of techno.
melodic.
I mean, you want that with any genre
Exactly,
or even
yeah.
multiple genres. Just one BPM of one style for 8 hours. No matter how much you like it, it gets a bit much. And it's nice to have a bit of progression and a little bit of a journey, or even like a transition from one genre to another.
We just sort of say like, you know, Beck and I, when we get together with the guys, we never ever tell anybody what to play, but we just want techno, like not.
People figure it out though, because we all know
Progressive
each
house
other.
or-
We've all under the understanding that you start off a bit softer, and you build it up to that and down to that. So wherever you are in the lineup, you speak to who's before and after you, and you kind of
Just work it out.
Yeah.
See,
but-
one thing I was quite baffled because a couple of years ago I actually was over in Melbourne. I went and watched Gesaffelstein, right?
Yeah.
And that was just through this roof, amazing, right?
Experimental sort of
But
stuff,
my parents dropped me, because I was with my parents at the time, right? They actually dropped me off there at the club at 9 p.m. So doors open at 9:30. So I was there from 9:30 to literally like 4 in the morning, right?
Yeah.
But they didn't really progress like the opening acts and stuff
just
like
too
that.
much, innit?
But like Made in Paris was there, and
Made in Paris, yeah, I've supported her twice.
her set was so cool, honestly.
Yeah.
Because like when I heard that, I
They
was
really like mellow stuff though.
no,
Like,
it was quite pumping like throughout the night. But she was playing just before Gesaffelstein though, so
Right,
so she was
yeah.
just like warming it up.
that would have
kind
been
of thing.
quite perfect.
And that's
she-
I was just gonna say, it's like since they didn't really like talk to each other, I guess you could say, it's like throughout the whole night it was just pumping. So it's being there from 9:30 to 4 a.m. It's like as soon as Gesaffelstein came, I was like, oh, all right, it's good to mix it up a bit now, kind of thing.
yeah.
But honestly, what a night! It was so
I know,
much
and
fun.
that's sort of like, we don't always want to do like 1 hour sets. We want people to like, you know, have a have a long set to like, you know, I suppose stretch their legs in the sense of how they play. But I think sometimes that's not always everybody's thing.
Yeah.
So sometimes people want to change or they want to mix it up. So sometimes it's good to, you know, just play your sound and like what your brand sort of is. And I sort of stick to generally the same thing. It's pretty consistent what I would play.
But then at the same time, though, it's like when people would want, you know, oh, Jaydream's playing, and that's like they can kind of know what to expect, what you're kind of going to play in a way.
Yeah.
Which is good. Like,
I mean, sometimes when I'm out, like in the clubs, like whether it be Connections or Geisha, people are like, oh, you're playing techno tonight? I'm like, No, can't. I want to, but I can't.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, also like I sort of
Throw a few in, see how it goes. and
yeah,
test the
chucking a
waters.
bit of
Well, that's it. Because
Jeff Mills.
I've always found is like since I'm an open format DJ, it's like you you just read the crowd and you play appropriately,
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
like if they're vibing it, you can slip a few
100%,
tracks in and like.
Yeah.
I always
I've-
throw one in like left and right to where I am and just see what the reaction is, and then that guides you where else you're going to go. But
So that's what I was going to
Yeah.
say as well, because like last night with playing at Scarborough Beach Bar, like I said, it was like the girl's birthday with Spanish music and stuff. But like I played rock and roll, like heavy rock and roll. I played drum and bass. I played a little bit dubstep,
Wow.
and then I played
Which is
like
not
one of the-
easy.
Yeah,
It's not
just
easy
throw
to
it
do.
all
Those
up.
BPM drifting is like that's a major
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
I'd find that difficult.
Oh yeah, you and I are very similar in how we play though.
Yeah.
It's
Like-
just
you
practice
got to
in
be
a
a
way.
good spin, mate.
Yeah.
Get yourself out of trouble.
Like yeah, we play pretty similar, I suppose.
Very similar,
and, like,
yeah.
I always know what I'm going to expect when I see Aaron play.
Yeah.
Well, I've been meaning to ask as well. So, how did you get into all of this? Like, how did you start DJing? And because you said you had a 12-year break or something. Like,
Oh yeah, well I
Just didn't want to use them 100.
I'm skipping all the.
Yeah, fuck that.
Wait until
I'm having 12 years
new
off.
technology.
Oh well, I started. Well, my love for that kind of music came. I don't know if you ever remember a game called Wipeout on the PlayStation.
oh yeah. Was that was the snowboarding or surfing?
No,
one?
Wipeout was actually a game where you raced like spaceships, like
Oh,
like you
okay.
were like on this course. But
Yeah, I
I
remember
love
it.
this track on there, and I
What,
was
that one?
Find it for you, innit?
yeah, no, it's Wipeout. Yeah, Wipeout there.
And
So
I fucking
so
love
the-
this album. I love this cover, eh?
Yeah.
I love this cover.
So-
You're going to get the music up.
Oh, no, seriously, the Chemical Brothers did the first soundtrack.
Oh, no
the second
way.
soundtrack was by Masters at Work or something, and then the third soundtrack was I found out was from Sasha. So that's how.
Sasha's
Yeah. So Expander, which is like my favourite tune of all
Oh,
time,
wow.
was one of the tracks on Wipeout.
And that'll be drummed into your head at
yeah.
a heightened motion when you try to complete level 12. And it was,
it was yeah,
and
it
it's
was
like
wicked.
ingrained in you, isn't it?
But that was it. Yeah, so I started listening to that, going to progressive house music. My mates were all into indie music. It came at a time where I was at that age where I just wanted to lock myself in a bedroom and just like listen to music. So I saved up money, bought decks, bought some vinyl turntables, and yeah, I started off playing trance, and then I became obsessed with a DJ called Marco V, who was like at the forefront of like I suppose the tech trance movement, with guys like Maro Picotto and Marcel Woods, and I moved to Ireland then. Used to listen to a guy called Eddie Halliwell quite a bit.
Okay.
He was a big influence on us.
He knows pioneer inside out,
Oh,
doesn't he?
yeah,
Jesus
yeah.
Christ. They ended up employing him because he found out how to do stuff on a Pioneer CDJs that Pioneer didn't know how to do.
Really?
He wasn't producing
Yeah, the
for a
cheat
long time.
codes.
No,
He made it as a
He
international
basically
DJ.
just all of these tricks he does with it, the stuff he gets out of them. I remember when he first started doing it, it's just like, what the fuck? And then they got him involved in the production of the next like generation of software and stuff. So he's definitely pioneering for Pioneer.
Oh, he's amazing, mate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Seeing his sets and that gave me a lot of inspiration. When I was living in Ireland, I got involved in like the pirate radio scene. So we used to sort of rent houses between a load of guys, get like the mast and that set up, and then inevitably we'd be shut down, and we'd have to like
Leg
go
it.
that lease and go to another house, and then
So, what do you mean by shut down? Like pirate radio? Like,
yeah.
what's
So
the-
there was a big radio station in town.
Okay.
But obviously, radio stations have to pay a lot of money
Yeah.
for their licenses and stuff.
If they find out where you're doing it, they'll come and
You get shut down.
you get shut down and fined and stuff.
No shit.
Yeah.
Or they take your equipment.
They never nicked our equipment, which was really good. So we got to move on. But it was good. It was a real good buzz. You know, you'd go into clothes shops and stuff, and you'd hear the lads playing. So basically, it was a room kind of like this, very similar in someone's garage. In a lot of times, so you'd start off in the morning. And the bloke, sometimes when you'd got there and played at 10 o'clock, the bloke who's playing at 8 o'clock in the morning would still be there on the sesh with the lads, playing all day long. It was wicked. But,
Always in the garage having a mix, isn't it? Chatting shit.
but that radio station got busier, and then with my mate Brian McDade started an internet radio station called QLK, and then I got a chance to sort of win a radio slot on a big radio station. I got kind of far, and then the guy who was playing the same like I was kind of against just wiped the floor with me real bad, and then after that I just got massive anxiety, real bad social anxiety. And the thought of jumping up to the decks
Put you
would
off
just
for ages, didn't it? You
scare
thought
the
we'd-
shit out of me. Yeah. I used to see my mate Murray going up playing, and it used to give me anxiety seeing someone jumping up to the decks. I'm like, I can't really do this, no way. So there was taking a break in a relationship I was having. I was like, I was doing some self-development work. And I was like, you know what, I've got to get around this somehow. So I picked a duff and I sent a mix into the organizer of Twisted Jar, Raymond James May, and I was like, I'll send this mix in, he probably won't give us a set. And he was like, yeah, we'll give you a set. And I was like, is it just, obviously this is obviously on the side stage, it won't be busy. And I was like, perfect.
Yeah.
That's what I
Can't
want.
get social anxiety if there's no one there.
At the time when my set was on, it started raining in this little tent. And it's the only place that was undercover.
So everyone crammed in
Load
there.
of people crammed in.
But I remember seeing you play a set, and it was like very like, it was like Rebuke kind of techno. It was
That's
like
what it
really
was,
like just Rebuke sound. Have you heard of Rebuke?
No.
He's actually from Letterkenny. From
right.
From where
It was very like,
I was born in Ireland.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I remember that set when you played.
But then, like I said, then it moved on to it's not like I'd met Paul and Jay already at this stage, but then it came like these guys were saying, like techno is something that was it was around at the Duffs, but it was more it was more like a side dish. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like to
Yeah,
fill in the time.
It was only
Okay.
really Twisted Jar that were willing to, once Forest Rescue had sort of left the scene, then Twisted Jar sort of were willing to, sort of start backing that side stage, and then, as techno sort of built.
Ones on the main stage too. We started getting
Yeah,
better
it's
slots on the
taken
main
like 3 or
stage.
4 years though, like of building through like our following and like a lot of us going out a lot and just playing techno and backing it. But when we first started Concept, I rang Paul and I said to Paul everything that I was, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? We're thinking about doing this, and I knew that he would tell me honestly, like, give me guidance, like he always does over the years. But it was just sort of like, okay, well, what have we got to lose? We've picked a good team of DJs. We will try and pick the right venues if we can get the right venues, and just work with what we have. We'll start small, and then so we do keep the team quite close, and we do have meetings and things like that, and let the guys have an input. And so we just thought, well, if we can't do it with the experience that we have, then at least we tried. At least we tried over the years.
From someone going, should we give that a go? Like,
Exactly, yeah.
Tomorrowland, like all just big festivals around the world. It all starts from just a little bit of someone like, should we just try and have a little bit of a party? And it just grows.
That's
So
exactly it, yeah.
SW4, like Damien, who runs Electric Gardens, they done SW4 in the UK. That and they run a thing called Heat. That started from a backyard party at a rental we had for travellers, and then loads of people turned up. So they done another one, about 200 people, massive party. Then they hired a venue, filled that a couple of times, and a bigger venue. Then they went on to look at it now, fucking. Get that photo bigger in the middle.
Beck and I play Electric Gardens as well. Yeah.
So what? Oh, you can't see the crowd, can you? But it turned into like that.
There we go.
You know what I mean? And it was just a few of us having a party in the back garden.
Yeah.
And then they done that, and then a 2-day event, and now it feels he done that because it was out the window of his house. We go back to his house for a kick on. It's like, it'd be better if you had a party there, pointed at the park.
Yeah, but that's because like it does come with a venue that can build that culture as well. Like
But
it makes
all
such a
started
big
from
difference.
his friends.
Yeah,
And it
just
started
coming
from a lot of
together with an
Aussies,
idea.
a lot of Aussies and Kiwis that are travelling, because he used to have rental properties that would be cheap to stay overnight, no bond needed. So everyone travelling, X amount per night, you can crash there all good. So all the Aussies and Kiwis and Saffers would all kind of be around there, all in party mode. So when they come to clubs, they're on holiday.
That's it,
You know
yeah.
what I
They
mean?
just
No
want
one
to
gives
party.
a fuck about their shit job on Monday. They're going to turn up hammered.
Yeah, that's
Because they're on
exactly.
holiday, they don't care.
And Aaron does a lot. He's done a lot with Looney Tunes on RTR as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah, that was the first stuff that I played at that I was telling you about. That's after that. I met Ben Metcalf, who he goes under the DJ name Ben 10.
Okay.
And he asked me to come on do a guest mix. And then I did another one. And then he asked me when I was playing, when I was just a guest on the shows, like, do you fancy coming on being a DJ? And I was like,
Give it a crack.
give it a crack, and it was did the course then, and started doing our own show. Got our own show once a month on Looney Tunes. Me and Ben.
That's awesome. So
Yeah.
how long has it been going for on
Speaking of
Looney
that,
Tunes?
sorry.
Luke, yeah.
I was going to say, we actually have footage of parties. To us.
That's when you was at the weekend.
I played at that event after the guy who's on.
That's
decks now.
IL, isn't he?
That's
Isaac.
Raymond. Yeah.
Isaac. He's
shout out
really he's such a passionate techno guy. Look at him.
Yeah,
That
and,
is sick stage.
this is,
How wicked
Yeah.
is that?
See the visual stuff.
That
It's
is
so
so
shout out
cool.
to
The
Space
stuff they do
Force.
out on the
Yeah,
the stuff they
Space
do out in the bush.
Yeah.
And
Next level
the
colours.
lights, lasers, smoke machines in the trees. Like, you don't get them doing that because they hit a wall or they hit a ceiling in the
Exactly, yeah.
You get that out at a doof with the lasers going off, and they go forever, or they hit
Yeah.
the trees and make all patterns in the trees. It's epic, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, massive
I
shout
mean-
out to Isaac. Anyway, you'd be loving this.
You guys have, like, on RTR, like with Looney Tunes, you guys have played a huge part in promoting the techno scene for local DJs. I mean, you guys have covered, whether it be doof DJs, club DJs.
Look at that setup.
Yeah.
Crap.
It
Yeah.
is. Well,
That's
Imagine trying to
amazing.
make that.
Yeah, that's it.
Imagine trying to make that like it would be so difficult.
Yeah, you can
to
just go on
do.
a tree out there if you want.
the good thing about Looney Tunes and me and Ben is that Ben knows a lot of people from the city, and I know a lot of people from the doof scene. And hello. And,
He's taking his spot.
when I get a chance, I'll take people on, guests from the doof scene. And Ben, like, he knows so many wicked DJs from the city scene. We've actually got a chick coming on this Friday from Brisbane. She's a wicked DJ called Lena Avaxa.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she's coming on. She played at Rabbit Eats Lettuce last year, so she's going to be coming on doing a mix for us.
Awesome.
Rabbit eats lettuce?
Yeah, which is it's an event over in Queensland.
Yeah, it's really quite big.
Yeah.
Quite a big festival.
Yeah.
It's wicked. It's like this kind of environment. How comfortable we all feel with Looney Tunes.
I've had some good parties in
Yeah,
that studio.
you get to
I've
come
been-
in.
I've been
Yeah.
on it for some other radio shows, and it's just
Wicked.
We've bashed out some heavy techno at 4 a.m.
Absolutely.
We're like, we've got 15 more minutes to go. It's like 1:35. Like, doosh.
It's great,
Yeah, it's good to have a few drinks and chat and people ringing up as well, like listening.
Yeah.
On Fridays, it's
What are
usually
the-
1 till 4 a.m.
So what are the phone calls like? Just like they're still like kicking on. It's like
We
bro.
get
People driving home.
people
like-
any other.
Abba techno remix.
it's people coming home from nights out, isn't it? On a Friday,
Yeah.
like pretty
You
much.
want it in the car, though, innit? On the way home, or if you haven't gone out, and
Yeah.
you're having like people have parties at home and stuff. And
I've been driving to sets and then put it on and the boys are on and I'm like, oh, this is
Yeah.
going, yeah.
It is really good. The best thing about the show, the best thing I find about doing it is when people are coming on and they're nervous, and you bring them round and they have a fantastic time, and all their nerves drop and they play a really, really good time, and they get a chance to promote themselves on the radio. And for me personally, it was huge. For me playing
Community radio
So I played my first set in that on that little bush stuff, and played before that for 12 years. And then I got that. Then that following Friday, I was on the radio playing, which felt like from playing not from 12 years to then, even though it's community radio, it felt amazing. And yeah, seeing the other people that are coming on the show, they love the opportunity to get to do their thing.
That's it, yeah, of
I
course.
mean, it's great.
It's just an
Yeah.
opportunity just to have fun,
Yeah.
just get into it kind of
It's
thing.
great to be able to support up and coming new people as well, because that's what the scene needs. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? It's like
exactly.
that new growth coming in, and a new passion, new skill sets, it just keeps it all growing. Like anytime I see people that are new or they're up and coming, it's like any chance I can, I'll put them somewhere or try and support them or help them with that, because it makes my weekends better. You start getting real good and you're playing out somewhere and I'm listening to you play and I'm enjoying myself, and there's good quality music and well mixed and everything. It's like, that's my weekend. I work all week for that. I want that to be good. Do you know what I mean? You want
That's it.
It can be so hard to, start playing big events like that without having any support or mentors. Like
Exactly.
I've been lucky enough to have Habitat, like Flex and Warwick, have guided me a lot over the years, and Paul. But I know some people probably have never been able to take that next step, like, with the social anxiety and stuff like that can be
it can be
sort of really
scary,
hard. I mean, Paul, I remember when Paul booked me for my first Blazing Swan God Said No set, and he was like, I'm warning you, it's going to be busy. I'm like, yeah, cool, yeah. Oh my God.
fucking heaving, man.
There was so many people in the pyramid. I was like, what the fuck? But no, it was good, like having that mentoring and stuff like that. And
you don't need it. You just think
that
you
was,
do.
that was that mentoring.
Because you always smash it. I always know I never need to worry about you whatsoever. But you always, anyone that is new with that, just to be there and just be near them when they're starting. Any dramas, I'll be behind you. Just say whatever you need to do and we'll get it all sorted. Just enjoy yourself.
That's it.
That's how things grow, so.
Well, that's exactly it, and that's the thing is like if you give someone their first opportunity to go play a set, and a couple of years down the track, they could be touring Australia, they'd be doing this, doing that. You're like, I helped them give a set. Like,
that's right. Yeah, you don't forget it. You remember it.
That's exactly
who
it.
helped you through. Like, I do try and mentor some new DJs coming through and help out where I can, and it's good for the culture because at the end of the day, we all support. Like as a scene, we support each other anyway.
That's it.
So like I know we've got like a really good relationship concept with the Angie Beats guys. And we try and do like the side stages and things like that to like network and like and build that rapport, and we want the scene to grow because like we have a responsibility like for Perth as well. So
you need to do all promoters or other events help other ones to grow too. Do you know what I mean? And have that mutual growth together, and it builds the scene.
Exactly.
I used to watch so many. Like
you can't work against each other.
Try to like shut down other promotions or other events or anything like that happening, and it just affects the scene on the whole.
Exactly. Yeah.
Just help everybody, and they'll do the same for you. And even if they don't, who cares?
Yeah.
Just
as long as
make it bigger for everyone.
Yeah.
I mean, between all of us, we've got whatever it might be, like a Wild Child or Concept or Blossom, or we've got so many DJ friends. We're all at everything, but that's how you like really build like a belonging sense of
That's it, the community. Yeah.
That's why you don't have to worry about going out on your own.
I mean,
when you get
there,
there's like 30 or 40 good mates there that you can't wait to see. You don't even ask if they're going. You just know they are.
Exactly. Yeah.
You just rock up. You know what I mean? And just find your crew. It's cool.
Yeah, it's good, and it's good for development, like for your brand as well. Like if your DJs are growing, it's a really good thing as well. So
yeah, and that's the thing. You just got to keep giving them more. Well, just the more gigs they do and everything like that, and then it's just everything just works out, kind of thing.
But it's all about. I mean, music's people's passions. You know what I mean? It's like passion. It's not work. It's not anything else. It should be treated the same way as like a business or anything. That's what I was saying. If you're running it as a business. Then it's not as a passion.
That's it.
And it will be run different. For it to run as a business, you don't want to run it other than numbers. You know what I mean? Because it's a business. But if you're running things with a passion, then it's a passion for music. And music, we were saying, it just breaks down so many barriers for so many things and puts everyone in the same place.
It's a lot of work.
It
is a lot of work.
So
like
that's why you have to be passionate about it. You got to really want to make it look that good. I mean, the effort the boys put in, like Drew and Tim and stuff with Blossom and everyone that does Blazes and like yourself with your events and yourself with your events, it's like all the effort before and after that goes into it. You got to love it.
Beck,
you know what I mean? Otherwise, it's work.
Beck does a lot of the work for Concept as well, because like if I'm DJing a lot on the weekends, playing 3 or 4 sets, whatever it be for Geisha or Connections, or like Beck's doing a lot of back and forth talking to the DJs. She's actually doing a lot of the artwork now, dealing with the venues back and forth, whatever it might be, and so like it's just constant.
It's
not
work.
That's exactly it.
I couldn't do Concept without her being involved. Like she's a lot more calm than me. So it's it takes a good team to work together, and and within our team as well, we've got like everybody's got their own little skill set, whatever it might be. So like Khan he's really good with graphic design. Vincent Yates, he's actually a printer, like he does like printing. So he's done like printed our posters, and everybody's had like an input somewhere.
More
which
skill
has been
sets,
really
isn't
good.
it? Like, many hands make light work.
That's exactly it. Yeah.
And now Brad's on board. He's a photographer.
He's misses as well, isn't she?
Yeah, Margot. So they keep a collab. They really like do a lot of photos for Blossom and things like that. So, and Tyrrell's now on board. So he's got a lot of experience with Angie Beats and setting up events. Yeah. So it's good to have a team that's strong like that. So you don't need to sort of take that workload as much.
Yeah, or have to try and outsource and spend more money in the whole lot.
It costs so much, like even for artwork, doesn't it? Like, I mean, how much you like with Wild Child, you would know what it was like outsourcing for a lot of the stuff.
Yeah, no, it was, I mean, obviously for your first event, that's where all the money's going to go, but it's definitely getting people involved. We didn't realise until like the day before how much help we needed from our mates. We thought we had it all covered. But nah, it's like
Yeah, that's it. And the thing is, even to try and break even sometimes when you throw an event, it's so hard.
Yeah.
Man, we've
Sometimes.
lost hundreds of thousands doing it.
Yeah,
Right.
but it's all for the passion. It's all just because
Can't give
it's
it away.
just doing
It's a
it.
gamble.
Yeah,
And the bigger you get and the bigger names you book and the bigger things you do, it's literally gambling.
Yeah.
Because you're
Yeah.
paying it all out and then just hoping people turn up.
I mean, some of the like internationals as well. It's like some of their sets like 40, 50 grand.
that's exactly it.
Eric
Yeah.
Pritz was 1.2 million.
Yeah.
Who was?
Eric Pritz.
Eric Pritz. No
Played
way.
Sydney,
That is a
Melbourne,
huge amount, isn't it?
Brisbane and Perth. And
1.2.
We brought him over to Perth and to keep him for another week. We had to get the Rolling Stones tour bus to drive him from over east to Perth.
No
Keep
way.
him till next weekend. Had him then book him for 2 events at Red Hill. For him to sell them out both. Getting him to sell out one.
Fuck.
It's hundreds of thousands, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a full
But it's
gamble.
Eric Pritz though, like to get him over
Yeah,
here.
but
like-
he didn't even sell out one event.
Yeah.
But Fatboy Slim,
That's
we had
it.
him before we hadn't even finished doing the promo and it sold out.
Yeah.
So all right, this is really easy. and then Carl
is Fatboy Slim,
Cox,
yeah.
he didn't sell it out either. We had 3,500 for Carl Cox.
Well, how recent though? Because was this a while ago when he did Red Hill or?
Yeah, what?
I
Like
remember when he was here at Kolsch.
5
Kolsch.
years?
I remember Kolsch supported him.
Yeah, massive lineup. We
Yeah,
had,
it wasn't very. It wasn't very.
Kolsch.
Oh, it was busy, but it wasn't like. I mean,
about
Red Hills are
3,500.
hard.
It holds 4. No, it holds 5. Or 3.5 there.
That's not bad though. It's really good
Probably
for
'cause they
Perth.
didn't figure
Like,
out how to get home from
has
Red
something
Hill.
happened, do you think? Because
Yeah,
you think something's
Yeah, that's
happened because that would sell out now,
Eric
wouldn't it?
Powell.
Do you think today?
Yeah,
Um,
Eric Powell's amazing.
I think now that we have better transport to Red Hill, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back then, like she was saying,
But we was
logistics
new
just a
to
nightmare.
using Red Hill for electronic music. But
Yeah,
our
true,
first
yeah.
event, we had
Venue.
Fatboy Slim and completely sold out.
Yeah.
Like it was 5,000 capacity and we had about 5,300 in there.
shit. Yeah.
So it can happen, but
But that's what's so hectic though, because it's like I would put Eric Pride's up there with Fatboy Slim
course
kind
you
of thing.
Oh, easy.
But
Yeah.
I'll put him well
yeah.
above.
Yeah.
To me, Fatboy Slim weren't even going to be a good night as much.
Yeah.
But he's such an entertainer. I was
Exactly,
so impressed with him, and so
Yeah.
impressed with his crowd interaction, and I couldn't believe how many tracks were his. To be honest, but it's just like, oh shit, is that him as well? Like,
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
So
He's released a lot of music.
yeah, he's been around a long time, man.
Yeah, yeah.
And he just decided to have a mix on Brighton Beach and got 250,000 people turn up, didn't he? Do you,
Really?
You know
No,
about
I
that?
didn't hear
People
about
died
that.
and everything. He just no money, just set up sound systems and a stage, and just announced on the radio that he's going to go and have a mix. And a
At
quarter of a
Brighton
million,
Beach.
250,000 people turned up.
Holy
Yeah,
shit.
get a picture of that up.
Well, I mean, it was an
Insane,
organised
man.
event, but it was free.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
so-
it. You hear on the radio like, okay, yeah, let's go
Yeah,
party.
there you
Like.
are.
Wow.
Yeah, fast forward it, he got off his
Yeah,
shots
go, let's
as well.
fast forward, mate.
Look at that.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Whoa.
the bloke's a rock star, man.
Look at the shirt.
He's a rock star granddad.
That's
He was
it.
still a granddad then.
Yeah,
Wasn't it 20 years ago?
Oh god.
Nah, he was
He was playing on 100s.
That's when he was getting right on it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah, 20 years ago, nearly though.
probably. Yeah.
I mean, that
When
is
is-
insane. Imagine all
when
those
was
that?
people turning up.
Right, beach.
Yeah, when though?
Oh yeah, it's a while back.
That was
2000 or something?
I've been to Brighton Beach. It's
2013, it said on the YouTube.
2002.
2002.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
sold
it
it
is.
enough.
Wow.
That's mad.
That was
Yeah,
back in the
that
day
is
when he
mad.
was partying like a rock star back then, and then when we had him at Red Hill, he so his rider.
We've been like 40. He was 40, mate.
Well, he's 58 now.
Yeah,
It's like,
Holy
yeah, I
shit.
mean,
legend.
Carl Cox is 58 as well, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're
Carl Co-
full rock
Still,
stars.
still plays at like 2 a.m.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he,
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah.
Norman's rider at
59.
I think it was a certain type of cheese with crackers and soft towels.
Was that
So we had to
only
buy
one?
luxury towels and get them dry clean so all the fluff didn't come off. And
Oh, nothing worse.
then
Oh, nothing worse than
I
Fluff
mean,
coming
Kolsch.
out.
I was like, what do you need, man?
Kolsch
Uh,
was sick.
And I was like, what do you need, man? He's like, you got any weed? I'm like, yeah, right, no. Got an ounce of weed. It's so different. There's for you and there's some towels for you.
I remember,
Very
yeah.
nice.
Classic.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
So-
that's some good parties. I reckon he's got some stories. Fatboy Slim.
Yeah, without
He
a
is.
doubt. I have to ask though. So now we've started talking a little bit about Carl Cox.
Yeah.
It's time to talk about it.
Yeah,
So
Carl
how
Cox.
was it? Like that was so cool that you got to open for him.
I know. Yeah. Shout out to Habitat. Originally.
She took over.
Oh, sorry, took over.
Yeah,
sorry.
I took over from me.
Sorry.
Yeah,
I got mixed up. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't think I got recovered from the stress. Actually, no.
Because how did that all happen? Like,
Yeah.
you took over from a bloody superstar.
I know,
like.
yeah. I mean, that's my third Pure, but I haven't actually played on the main stage as such. And so I was originally meant to play after Laura King, who was meant to fly from, I think, Sydney. And she was meant to play after Carl Cox. And so I was meant to be doing the closing set from 4 till 5 a.m. And so there was a bit of back and forth with the set times, but I was set for the closing set 4 to 5, and I was really excited about that. And I've supported her when Nina Kravitz came here for the Habitat Garden Party. We had Juliet Fox, Nina Kravitz, and Laura
Nina
King.
Kravitz would have been amazing.
Yeah, so that was pretty crazy, but I just did the warm up. And opened at the court for her, and then she played some really like rave driving, like 150 stuff, which is quite heavy. So I remember ringing Paul, being like, "Oh, what do you recommend? Like, you're pretty old school, you're hard house, and what do you recommend?" And like we'd like worked out how I was going to do it and everything, and so I'd like got this set together for the whole week, and I was really excited. And then on the day, it was like probably maybe 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Flex from Habitat was ringing. And I was like, oh, he probably forgot like some cables or something. Like, it's a bit weird that Flex is ringing. So I was, all ready to like, had my set done, and Flex rings, and he's like, hey, so something's happened, and yeah, you're going to be taking over from Carl Cox. And I was like,
what? Did I hear that right?
Sorry, wrong number.
I was like, sorry? Anyway, I had to like get him to repeat. I was like, what do you mean? And he's like, yeah. He's like, Laura's like, I don't know if it was a COVID thing or whatever, but Laura couldn't make it. And so I was like, yeah, cool, no worries. He's like, anyway, so I started like listing off other DJs. I was like, what about, have you asked so-and-so? Have you asked? And he was like, yeah, no, you're definitely going to play. And I was like,
okay. All righty.
cool. I was like, okay. And so then my partner Beck from Concept was like, what's going on? I was like, I got to take her from Carl Cox. She was like, wow. I was like, wow. So then I was like, yeah, this is cool. What am I going to start with? Wonder, like, yeah, because I mean, his experience over the years. I mean, he's been DJing for over 30 years.
Yeah.
Like, I was probably 5 years old when he was like, first starting out and stuff like that. So I was like, I should do like an intro. Maybe I'll look up like what's a cool track to start with. So I was just like,
happy birthday.
Oh, anyway, so Flex had actually said to me on the phone, by the way, you're going to be using 3000s and a V10 mixer. And I was like, Carl Cox has everything connected, tractor and things like that. I was like, oh, no worries. And then I was like, oh my God, looking up YouTube, trying to like figure out how to use the 3000s.
Are they kind of similar, those, the 2000s, would you say?
They
or?
are quite similar, yeah. I mean,
screen.
the screen is for like, the screen is
things,
massive, but also the whole setup was really big. Like he had, there was the 3 CDJs, and then he had everything connected. Like he had the effects units connected through, and the V10 mixer, and it was just like a huge setup. Anyway, so I had, bit of a panic before I left home, but I was sort of, I was okay. And then like I got into Metros at like probably 12:30, 1 o'clock, and Eric Powell was just, I've met Eric Powell before. He's awesome. Like absolutely. I love him. Like he's so good. And so he was just like the energy. It's just the energy. I couldn't explain the energy. When I walked in, I was just like, wow. I held onto my backpack, my headphones, and I was like, oh my God.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And it was like, it wasn't anxiety. It was like, okay, I've got a responsibility. It was a responsibility that I had, and that I just cared so much. Like, so, and I also play for Concept when I do play as well. But I was just like, oh my God. And I walked in and it was just heaving. The energy and the production was just like next level. And I was like, message Flex Mark, I'm like, can you meet me so I can go to like the green room? So I went down to the green room and everybody was in there, management and Eric Powell, Christopher Coe, and just went in and I just sat there holding on to this warm V, just ate half a watermelon. And basically what I did was once I was ready to go up on the stage, I went up and his manager was like, are you ready? And I was like, yeah. And so I was looking, and his energy, just everything were like, the levels were really busy and full, and the production was just like, and his stage presence was just next level. And it was so loud, and just, he was playing 128 BPM sort of is what suits me, but it's more like driving tech to techno, but then like he sort of comes back from the techno, and then it's like driving, rolling sort of. And he's just a really big, strong man.
Crowd,
yeah, and every time he picks up the microphone to say, oh yes, everyone's just like, so I was standing, I could see through the cracks, and then his manager was like, he's ready, are you ready? And I was like, yep, cool. So I like walked out, and I like said, thanks for coming to Perth. He's like, oh, nice to meet you, Jay. Like, yeah, have a good set, thanks so much for having me. And I was like, just like this little person just holding on to him. And yeah, once I took over, I did an intro, and yeah, the Perth crowd were awesome. Just stayed, and I just played one.
You played 2 sets as well, didn't you?
I played
For what, 2 hours?
I ended up closing from 3 till 5, so I kept it
Wow.
pretty full till, yeah, because like I sort of, you know, after an international plays, everybody just leaves.
Usually, yeah.
Everyone's like, oh, who the hell is this? And like as soon as like I came on, it was like it was really good for Perth, like not just for me but for Habitat and to represent Perth. Like
venue.
It is.
That
and
rammed is just having the balconies and it all coming round, focusing on the stage is such a good.
It's just
of energy.
everybody, like,
because
so
it was Metro City, right?
Yeah, it was just, I was looking around and I was like, everybody, and like Flex and Warwick were really supportive. I was like, I said to Flex and Warwick, please just stay, and like Carl watched me play for some of Eric Powers there and stuff, whatever. So yeah, and everyone was just looking down, everyone's like looking, and 3 a.m. and I'm like, okay, here we go. And you know, so I like clapped him off, done the intro, and then I was just like 1:30 techno. And everyone was just like, everybody just like pushed forward, and everyone was like, and so the manager kept coming up and just like, yeah, cool, just, yeah, we're going to keep going till 5 a.m. And then afterwards, like the emotional release, I was like, oh my God. And I think, yeah, it's probably the best experience of my DJing career. And I messaged Flex and Warwick, was like, thanks so much for that. And I was like, wow. And it was just like, afterwards, I was like, oh my God. Yeah, but I was glad it was over after.
That's the thing. It's like, if he comes back again, guess who's in the lineup?
It was just a cake. Like, I mean, I was looking around and I was just like,
this is from the old one. I can't find new ones, but yeah.
Oh, but it looked like that.
It
was
exactly
just,
like that.
yeah,
So
they didn't have so much like the thing at the front, but I actually was okay with the 3000s. I just sort of adapted, and you know, once I started and got the handover.
He was worried about your music showing up on them as well, weren't you? You weren't even sure if your music was going to show up on the 3000s.
Yeah, I was like, oh,
because it's just new software. It's just like, is it going to be updated, or does something need to be updated? It's just always the little things that you're not 100% on a situation like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing. It's one thing to take over from an international of such I mean, he's one of the best DJs in the world and has been for a long time. It's another thing to try and adapt using equipment you've never used without having any prep. Yeah. I prep. I'm really anal. I'm really structured in how, and like I look up labels and I like to know what I'm doing. I'm very organized, and I just was thrown so out of whack that there was just. Yeah, so it was good because I just relied on the techno that I love, because I only knew how to do that.
Yeah. That to me would be your best representation of you. Yeah. I mean, it's just like, okay, I know my techno's there. Some of my best sets are just like no prep. I rarely do much prep now. I just have a folder of a load of stuff that I think is going to be suitable for where that's going to be. But then you get there and then you just go wherever within that.
Yeah, I suppose with the internationals though, like it's, you know, like I take that really seriously.
Yeah, you have to.
I've been given like that responsibility in Perth to do that. And so like, you know, I just thought, here goes. So it's like make or break now. It's like if anything's going wrong, this is it.
But you know how well it went and you kept everyone there. So you know that format as well, by just relying on the music you know and love, works real well.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you see people prep so much and that set is planned, they've practiced each one of those mixes, all works, they turn up and then first 2 tunes don't work.
That's exactly it.
And you can't really prep for someone like Carl Cox.
You're doing an hour and a half of that now and people don't like it.
Exactly.
Carl Cox has so much knowledge of music that I just thought, okay, well, like this is my brand for like what I would play for Concept or for Habitat or whatever it might be. Yeah. This is what I love. It's what I play well. And that's all I had to rely on. And I think that's what they wanted me to do, Habitat. So I was like, oh well, here goes, give it a crack. Do my best, 3 till 5 a.m. after Carl Cox.
That's amazing. Epic. That's
Yeah.
really
Yeah, so yeah, it was a really good experience.
So cool.
Yeah.
Just so cool.
Yeah. And then afterwards I got heaps of messages and like friends were really supportive, and when I got home I was like really emotional. I was like, oh my God. But yeah, it's like after 5 years of DJing or 6 years, that's like led to that moment.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, it was good.
That's it. Yeah, that's exactly it.
Yeah,
As
so
I
it was
said,
good.
like,
So now I can do anything. I feel like
that's
I can
it.
like play anywhere or do
But this is the
anything.
thing. Now you should lower any need for stress or worry about something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
that's
once
right.
you've succeeded in a high pressure situation like that, then unless it's going to be, even if it was the same as
Yeah.
that again, that is now, you know that you can do that with no
But that's
prep.
and that's what you know.
If you can do that
you
with
know,
no
you play
prep,
well,
then
don't you?
fuck whatever. Just
Yeah, I've always said that as well. You throw yourself in the deep end,
best
and
way
then
to
the
learn,
next time won't be as bad. And
That's
it's
right.
like that's more than the deep end, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Do you know,
stardom.
I sort of I'm glad that happened, because like I was kind of like, techno is definitely where I want to go in the future, and like, you know, back that with concept and everything like that. So yeah, it's those sort of moments like in a career, DJing career or whatever, that really sort of go, yeah, this is it, this is what I want to do. So
nice.
yeah, so it's good.
stuff.
It's good to be able to play well for concept, I suppose, as well, you know.
Yeah, we just
We have
just
a
rep
responsibility
Perth and
to do
everything.
that.
Yeah.
So
Speaking of that, we have a couple of comments that we just want to
Yeah, all right.
shout out to.
Let's do some shout outs.
Pietis goes good chats. Levitt Martin goes zone 92, 96 for the win.
yeah, that's one of our DJs, Tyrrell.
Rebecca
Chill, mine.
Yeah.
Tamazi.
So
Wow,
Rebecca
concept
Tamazi is
crew.
my fiance.
Yeah.
Shout out to you, babe. She's the other half of concept.
Oh,
Yeah, the other
So
half.
this,
Yeah.
is, so this is like our own little advertising as well.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Matthew Schofield, Wave, and Tim Jackson.
Scully.
Good old Tim Jackson.
Oh, shout out to those guys. They come and support a lot of our events. So Matt Schofield, he goes, he's a part of the Angie Beats, and Tim, he's he's a part of everything. He comes and supports us, and really, we've got
Oh shit!
a
Now
good
everyone's
crew.
commenting.
That's it. Now everyone's commenting.
Yeah, Ray, go under my
Shout out
reference
Ray.
DJs.
Yeah.
There's IL, he was the one in the video before, Isaac.
Yeah.
The
Shout
one
out
that
Isaac. Yeah.
Shout out to Ben. There you go, Ben.
Yeah.
Ray. Isaac.
Ben's
Yeah.
actually signed to your label, isn't he?
Ben's actually now taking over our label.
Really? You had a label?
Yeah, Filthy Beats Digital.
Okay.
Yeah,
And how
we've
long
run it
have-
I've been running it for quite a few years. Quite a lot of releases out on it from different people. We had like a Ben Coda remix on it. We've had a few big releases on it and quite a few of our own stuff. But with Craig kind of taking a step back and focusing more on work and other stuff, Craig was a lot more the IT department than what I am. So that took a back seat. And yeah, Ben's making. We've signed a few of Ben's tunes prior, and he's loving the kind of the chunky tech house stuff. And yeah, he asked us about what you're going to do with it. So yeah, we're now letting him take it over. So yeah, there's all of our stuff that we've had out so far, or a few of them.
Very nice.
Yeah, I think one of our DJs, Jake Claridge, is actually
Yeah,
on
we've
track
got
on there as well.
We've got Jake's
Jake
out on the
Claridge,
label.
he's one of our techno DJs for Concept. He's actually done some production as well, and he's got some releases on as well.
That's
So
Jake's there.
yeah, there's Jake. Yep, he's actually a resident for Habitat Geisha as well.
Oh, wow.
We learnt to DJ together, and he actually has a really cool background growing up. So when we met at Lab 6, shout out to Lab 6, Jake was like, yeah, I race go-karts. I was like, oh yeah, cool. Thinking like Adventure World go-karts.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
cool.
I've been to
He's like, no,
sisters
like,
twice.
yeah.
I fucking nearly beat my dad.
And he actually like competes, and he's got like a racing team and everything.
badass.
So yeah, like he's actually a like professional race go-kart racer.
That's
so.
sick.
Yeah, so all of our teams got their own little talents. But yeah.
How many people are actually in the team, would you say?
47.
Wow.
So,
there you go. Specific.
There's quite yeah.
Oh, there you go. Driver database. We found
There
him.
you go. We can check out what he's like at hairpins.
That's
So he's
it.
karting. He's got 12 podium finishes going.
Oh, wow.
Good on you, Jake.
Poor Jake.
So there's Filth and Pleasure, we've got Karen M, there's myself, there's Tamazi, we've now got Tyrrell that's on board, and Brad Cooper, Girl London, we've got Khan Fam, he goes under Clockwork, Vincent Yabes.
Not counting that, don't you?
So yeah, pretty much all of us. Yeah.
47.
Martin Tane, as well.
About 9, or something.
Yeah, I think it's even now. So yeah, we're happy to have people come on as guests and like break up the brand a bit, because like we've had people that have influenced us in different ways in the scene, and we like to network with the scene as well and bring them on board. So
it's good to give other people a chance and get them involved and get their influence of them.
That's
Just
it. Yeah.
keeping it all moving and keeping it growing and
Yeah.
yeah.
Because that's the thing. Because with Perth, we're the most isolated city in the world. It's but like everyone's got a story and everyone's got stuff to talk about. So
I mean, Sydney, like when Beck and I were in Sydney, they were doing the 12-hour techno set from 11 p.m. to 11 a.m. on a Friday night.
really,
We were like,
what? Just like that? Just them? Just that one set?
that good bar.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
when Beck and I went to go see Ludovic in that play, and
Wow, 5
Laura
hours
King was
there.
actually on that lineup.
Yeah.
And Friday night, like people going out for breakfast and listening to 140 techno at 8 in the morning, like
You're still pumping.
it's still pumping.
Eating your bagel.
Yeah, going in after your morning coffee, like what's happening here?
Just throwing it
Like,
over your head.
140 techno, woo, let's go. Yeah, it's cool. Well, eventually we'll get there, maybe not.
No, I reckon honestly with Perth, like the way things are going and the growth with everything, eventually we'll definitely start like competing with like Over East and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I was quite like disappointed with the clubs as much, purely because I come from London and into here, and then I changed my music from kind of faster to slower to kind of fit in a bit more, but then finding the duff scene and the artists that you've got there, some of the producers and stuff like that are just epic.
Producer sets like Ollie
Like-
Verb and Frank
Yeah, like
Nature
Ollie and like Ali Cat.
Ali Cat.
Like, I mean, his stuff, I love his. He's just done a remix. I've got a new track coming out soon. And Ali Cat, it's coming out on Digital Diamonds. And Ali Cat, Dark Mode, and Tom Chiller have all done remixes. So it's like a techno EP coming out. But the production and stuff from like, I love Ali Cat stuff. Like, his stuff is like a psychedelic techno.
You've had and you've had him quite a bit on the radio, haven't you?
I had him once, yeah, and I play minimum one of his tracks every single set.
You
that
do,
I play.
yeah.
He's from here in Perth. Yeah, played a track called Stroller at the Concept first birthday, and without doubt, it was seeing people get down to that and knowing that he's from WA.
It's like bush tech kind of.
It's
like
just chunky, psychedelic bass lines, man. And it's just got cool vibes to it. I play loads of his stuff.
It's so hard not. There's a couple of tracks. It's ridiculously hard not to play. I better not play it. I better not. And then I always, yeah.
and like
Stop lying to myself. It's down on.
we've had Kinnamal as well as a guest, and
Yeah,
like
Kinnamal's great.
like you've got a great relationship with Kinnamal.
Yeah.
We've had him on the radio, and he was a guest DJ for us, and
His label,
at Technosis.
Technosis,
Yeah,
brilliant
great.
label as
He's
well.
he plays some amazing bush tech. Like even at Blossom, I was like, oh my gosh, he's amazing. So yeah, we had him, and he was a really great guest for us for Concept. He was actually our first guest, wasn't he?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
We had a great turnout for that, and he just played some awesome stuff. And
Yeah.
so it was like, a nice mixture of like the club and the bush scene sort of coming together with techno at Goodwill, which was really good.
But it's cool for them guys. Don't really get to do many clubs.
Yeah.
So like we were the kind of from a club to the bush. They were just bush. So it's cool. They've kind of taken us in the bush when we kind of went there,
awesome.
and we're taking
Yeah,
them
that's-
into clubs, and it's merging the two.
Which is, it's a good thing though, because like usually with the club scene, it's all about who you know almost.
Yeah.
And it's like you
Well,
got to actually have those connections to get those
to a certain
gigs.
degree, you know.
Yeah.
It's always
DJ
going to
can't
be
get
there.
through.
It's
Yeah.
always going to be there. But it's good that you're merging a lot. If you're making your group bigger, then it ain't just a couple of people you need to know, or just a couple of people holding all the cards. It's a lot of people, and give a lot of other people chances or
Yeah.
That's
opportunities
it.
for stuff. But
It's just the community building basically.
100%.
right.
But the guys, the Mad Hatter crew that done the Halloween stuff, that it got cancelled, and then they managed to do a warehouse party, and then the weekend after, for the after party, they had Villa.
Really?
Yeah.
So
Which is
like,
huge, yeah.
so they got all like sold that out, and they got all like side trance in Villa.
That would've been
it's-
hectic.
So
Like-
it's coming in as well. You know what I mean? So
They've got a
the
huge
scene-
following though.
The scene's growing.
People.
But I mean, they can go somewhere and sell 1,000 tickets.
That's it.
And
Yeah.
there ain't too many other ones that do that all the time regularly in Perth. But the diff scene now is, I mean, their last Halloween gig was like 2,500 people through the gate.
That's so crazy for
Yeah.
Perth, honestly. Like,
Yeah, and that's 2,500 people driving in the middle of fucking nowhere out to the woods with a little map on where they need to get to. So it's like you're not accidentally stumbling across it, are you?
that's
So
exactly
you're
yeah.
putting a lot of effort to go there. So you want to be there, and you it's about the music.
Yeah.
Because you don't really want to pick up at a diff.
Exactly.
You got to really like someone.
Yeah, that's it. They haven't showered for 2 days.
There's a lot of, there's a lot of days without showering.
Yeah, exactly.
Day 3 at a diff, it's got to be love.
That's it.
That's marriage material, eh?
Yeah.
100%. Oh shit.
The chats as well that you have is out in the. You're under the stars.
That's epic.
It is unreal. I know we're chatting a lot about diffs, but
It's because, I mean, that's
how we
when we're talking about music, you know what I mean? And a big part of music for me and you and Jay is duffs.
Yeah.
Like, and that outdoor festival, I mean, the weather here, man, is epic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, you can walk around in a t-shirt at night time here in summer. Day and night, and it's just, you go from shorts and t-shirt for 2 days. The dancing under the stars and sun comes up and it's epic. So, yeah.
So what's it like? I have to ask. So what is it actually like in England and Ireland and stuff like that compared to here? Because like it's
You
just
ain't got the
cold.
sun, but the venues,
Yeah.
man, are epic. Some of the venues,
a lot less vitamin D floating around.
Yeah, a lot less. Yeah.
at the end of a 3-day kick on in England, you look like you're gonna die. Here, you normally end up with a tan. That's the difference.
What a way
I
to
used to
put
look
it.
at myself on a Monday in the mirror and just like, fucking hell, like, I reckon I've got about an hour and a half left to live. And here, I look in the mirror and I fucking put a pair of sunglasses on. I've got a nice like suntan on my head and my nose. You can't see my eyes. And it's like, you look like you just come back off holiday.
The DJing life. I
And
mean,
the venues in the UK, obviously, they're much bigger population and epic venues. I mean, some of my best times back home are like Camden Palais, which then got called Coco.
Yeah.
But that was like an old, it's like an amphitheatre, theatre kind of thing. So you're in that. If you try and find a picture of Coco or Camden Palais,
Camden Palace.
full up, and it's about 4 tiers of balconies and it's the massive dance floor.
Fuck.
Playing in there and being at that, man, just the best nights.
Yeah, that was my first experience of underground trance music.
If you go to that and someone flicks you a pinger or something, you've had the best night of your life and it's a new favourite thing to do.
is
Just
that
straight
Camden? Is that like near Camden Market?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Try and get a photo of the inside of
Is
it.
it closed down?
So
now?
3 of us are in
It
here.
burnt down, but they're doing it all up again. What it's going to come back as, who knows? But a lot of the big venues in the UK got bought over for land, though.
Oh, really?
Apparently.
Yeah.
Like Bagley's and all the big warehouses, the Egg.
Heaven in London probably still
Heaven.
going. Is that still going?
I'm not sure.
I
think
think
a
I
lot of
kind of
them-
worked out that during
Egg.
my time going clubbing, I would have seen you playing.
You would have, probably.
I think so.
Probably across paths.
No, I
Yeah.
would have done because back
Yeah.
in them days,
Yeah, look at this. Like, that's with a band on that. That's sensible. You go to like an unsensible one, it's just people just falling off the balconies and everything.
yeah,
It's the best.
That looks
night.
really
Falling
nice.
off the balcony.
Well, nah, not really. But,
their jaws might have been.
but just, yeah, loads of parts were hanging off.
It's really respectful. Like a
Chin,
theatre.
arms, but yeah, they're just great clubbing experiences. But the venues there and around Europe and stuff, because obviously the size of it and the venues that they've done. I mean, Perth's got amazing venues here, but it's a small city.
Well, it's
You've got X amount, and they're very typecast. You know what I mean? The venues are like, oh, that's just for R&B or just that. I mean, like, what's the one in the casino called? Is it Eve?
Yeah.
yeah.
That's an epic venue, but it's shit in regards to it's only X amount of certain people that go there for certain music.
Exactly.
But we was
It's
going to
just
put
cheesy
Fatboy
hip-hop
Slim
and stuff.
there for the after party from Red Hill,
Oh,
and it's just like we walk in there. It's like this venue is the nuts. The sound
Yeah.
system is great. The lighting's great. It's a custom built badass club in a casino.
yeah.
Like,
just have
has
a
that
certain
not
direction
going
they
off
want.
all the
Yeah.
time and not just hip hop and just the same crowd? Like, there's a lot of venues here that are just put down as a certain genre, which is a shame because the UK, a venue's a venue. Like like you were saying, the Fridge was a gay club. I've been there hundreds of times. I didn't even know it was a gay club.
I just guessed it was.
It was called. It was like Love
I used to get
Machine.
grabbed quite a lot,
It was
so
called
I'm
a
just
gay
guessing.
club. They would have like gay nights.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. So
Yeah, it was a dual club. It was a club that didn't have.
yeah, no, exactly.
Yeah.
But they don't do that here. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, everything is just a one club.
The venue
Exactly,
thing
yeah.
has been really
It's just
difficult.
known for that, which is such a shame because, like, yeah, just the opportunity for different genres to have nights in other venues is so limited. You've got your genre, and then you've got your handful of venues that play your genre.
Yeah.
It should be a venue, like hiring a venue, but then people also only go. Like I don't go to that venue. It's like, what do you mean?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
You're
Yeah.
going there for music. You're not going there like because of where it is or what it's like.
Yeah.
In the UK, you follow someone you like. If they're playing in the phone box, you're fucking queuing up for a ticket. It's just like,
That's it.
it's like you're going there for the music.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit different here, which is a shame because there's some good venues here.
That's it.
Yeah,
And
it's
that's
hard. They're hard to book.
yeah.
So many, like when Beck and I were trying to book for Concept, we were contacting.
hard, isn't it?
They're like, oh, you know, we need a minimum 300 people on a Friday night. We're like,
Yeah.
you know, and that can be just like, it's hard to do.
At the
Like,
beginning,
especially
it's
with
a
COVID
gamble.
around.
I remember when you said you started, I'm like, well, whatever money you've got to put into it,
Yep.
just you need to be prepared to lose that, and you
Yeah.
need to be able to push to the point of like if you can push past that and grow it. But at the beginning,
Yeah.
it's a labour of love.
We
Yeah,
sort of had done the
that's exactly
groundwork
it.
prior to that and just thought, like, you know, at the end of the day, this is what, like, we've been around the club scene, Beck and I, and the Duff scene, so we didn't do anything we didn't think we couldn't really meet. And we just thought, well, you know, like, at least if we try small and just work around and just see. And so, you know, like some of the venues, like, they want $1,800 or $1,200 a Friday night or
They
whatever.
want
And
X amount of your ticket money
Yeah.
and all the bar, and it's like, well, fuck, man. What
Yeah.
chance have we got of
Surviving, yeah.
of paying anybody, of making this work? It's like.
But at the end of the day, like sometimes it's, you know, obviously having it in a club venue, it's you have that safety and the security of the venue, and you know that they've got the COVID safety plans and things in place, they've got insurance or whatever it might be, but you know, they've got the sound systems, everything's done. You don't need to really
that's
take
it.
anything out like they do out bush or whatever. So yeah, it's just sort of finding those venues. So that's why we sort of started at Goodwill, and then we've also done a couple of events at Geisha. They've function ones there, and it's just, you know, at least it's easy. It's set up and it's done. But
Yeah,
like
saves you a lot of hard
Goodwill,
work.
we just couldn't get back in after like 3 events, even though our events went really well. It was booked out for like 5 months after that.
Yeah.
So we were like looking, they're like, oh, what about, you know, dates in March or whatever it might be, and it's like, oh, okay, I know we wanted to do every 2 months, but you know, it's
Sometimes it doesn't work.
I don't know, like Grit and the PTSD guys are running events as well, and like shout out to those guys for like contributing to the techno scene in Perth, because that's really good. But I'm sure they're experiencing the same things as us as well, when we're sort of, you know, there's a lot of drum and bass events that just
Exactly.
everywhere in the scene, and
Yeah. There's always like 2 every single weekend, no
there's
matter what.
heaps of stuff every
Perth is-
weekend. There's
is
just
the foundations of drum and bass, though, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
just like
Yeah.
that's what
That's
they've got. The core of music here seems to be drum and
yeah,
bass.
Yeah.
yeah. It's
That's
always
exactly
been quite
it.
solid, strong, hasn't it? The drum and bass scene. But like in regards to techno, it's, I suppose, like we just keep pushing. You know, like Habitat have done a lot of work with bringing over international techno artists as well, which is really good. You know, I mean, they brought over some massive techno DJs in the time, but it also starts with our local scene.
Yeah. That's
Our
exactly
local
it.
DJs
That's
play a
what grows
huge
it.
part.
There's some amazing nights
Um,
that are just locals. Do you know,
you
what I
know,
mean? It's like,
like-
it doesn't have to be an international. You just got to get used to following artists that play music that you enjoy, or around that, or venues or events that are putting the effort into like progress a night or showcase good music.
Yeah.
Every genre should have gangs of people in it that are passionate about it to try to grow the music they love. You know, what I mean, the more people that do it, I mean, that's how Blazing Swan become what it was. It
Exactly.
started
Yeah.
off with just like one stage, and then it ended up
Yeah.
there's about 14.
I mean, Khan and Vince, who play with Concept with us, those 2 guys, we've been playing in the trance scene with them for a long time. They are talented, really talented guys. And they, like, our trance scene sort of died, and they're just both really, really nice guys that just, you know, they go with it. But I'm like, when we were thinking about starting Concept, I was like, can't Vince. I know they can both play techno. They are really passionate guys, so good to work with, really like, you know, and they just adapt to anything. They're just bloody amazing.
You can mix.
Yeah,
just most people that DJ, you like other music because music's a big part of your life. If you spend time buying it, learning how to put it together and playing it in front of people,
that's it.
Chances are you listen to other genres too.
Yeah.
And they didn't really have a local platform to really sort of play on though. So to really showcase like what they were capable of doing, they probably didn't even know what they could do with techno, and they've still got so much to do. So you know, like connecting them, like Martin and like with you guys, and not the team didn't all know each other to begin with. Like we knew each other from the same, but like you hadn't really met.
Emerged from people from different places with different skill sets.
Yeah,
and it's great, but all under the one kind of thing of just love of music.
I think like with Concept, it's no mistake that when you go to a Concept event, the energy from the whole night has a lot to do with our roots in trance music. Do you know what I mean? Even though like
I grew up in it.
Yeah, a lot of us did. Jake and Martin a little bit more on the house end, but the energy on a night and the journey, you know, if you thought about what techno is, you brought someone like Paul was saying earlier, you know, techno night. Oh, I'm not so sure. That's going to be really repetitive and banging. You need to take them to a Concept night because through a night at Concept, you will see from the closing set to the end. Even with us 3 people here, you're going to see 3 different flavours of techno that you may never have heard before, and you've already discounted that genre. So I'm not into that, but.
The same goes for other genres, like exactly what you were saying. Like I know that, and then you put that into place for when you go to listen to other stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like I enjoy going to events of other music that people feel the same about as what I do about stuff that I love, and it's like cool. Show me, like, let me.
That's what I was saying.
Experience that, and people should just want to do that. If you find an event that's run by passionate people that are skilled in what they're putting on, go and have a look.
Exactly,
Sometimes
yeah,
that takes
100%.
quite a few events to get there to that point.
Yeah,
you know, like we were sort of figuring out, Beck and I, like how to set up things and how to do artwork and how to. It's so different because like just DJing, DJing's a different side of it. But actually coming to the promotion side of it,
it's different.
It's full on. There's like so much stuff involved.
So much back end of just everything that
the
goes.
Stress of like, you know, all of it. So, you know, that's why I was sort of saying, like with Beck, sometimes it's easier having 2 people and having the guys that are experienced to like just do the work. I think Beck and I will in the next like sort of 3 to 6 months probably take a step back from actually playing. Okay. Sometimes I'm playing 3 or 4 sets on a weekend, and I want to start focusing more on production as well. So yeah, just handing it over to the guys and letting them do the work. So
I mean,
well,
about
something's
14 days a week, not enough. Time for time to have a shower.
I think people like you know there's a potential that out there. It's just people just need a platform to do that on. So
That's it.
It's exciting.
So we've only got, we're actually like 20 minutes overboard.
We knew it. Yeah. We knew it. Lucky there wasn't more of us here.
But it's honestly, this has just been so good. It's been awesome.
Thanks for having us, man.
Yeah, thank you so much.
I say before we, there's a couple more comments.
More comments, yeah.
We've got 20 minutes over.
Yeah. We've been going for 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Well, originally there was meant to like Beck was meant to come, but it would have been more of us.
We've got a nudie run to put off.
Here we go. Rich Rada with Too Much Time in One Room. Muriel, Epic Club, The Fridge.
Go London.
Ask Aaron about losing his keys to Blazing Swan.
All right, here we go. Story time. Go on. What happened?
I hope my mum's not listening. Cyril may have given me something.
Spiked?
Yeah, and I went on a journey for about 8 hours with a good friend of mine called Danny Wall, and I was going to go sleep late. I just rocked up really late to Blazing Swan, and literally
you're late for fucking everything. You're so late, you're nearly going to be early for the thing afterwards. If we just get you one step over, you're going to be on time.
I'm always just about in time for me set. Anything else, I'm late for. But
most sets he jogs to them.
You did it last place.
I've seen him a few times running through the bush. But to be fair, I've done it and all.
At Halloween, like 2 years ago, I broke 2 ribs, and when I was running to my set. I know we got.
It's a professional crew.
DJing's dangerous, man.
As a crow flies, I could see the lights, so I was like, I'll park here and just going to run. And it was just bushland. So I fell over. And I knew something bad had happened. I definitely knew I cracked a couple of ribs because I couldn't breathe very well. And I ran, and then the bloke, when I ran out into the forest clearing, there was like, "Hey, stop that guy!" And I was like, well, "I've got to keep going," because I was late. And 5 minutes. When I got up on stage, I full on had a big bit of wood sticking out my leg.
Anything for techno.
And do you know what's the worst thing about it? They were running half an hour behind. And I could have strolled down the promenade like easy.
Yeah, but you would have got to tell your story on the radio.
Yeah, true.
But what happened to your keys?
Yeah, what happened with that?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, material.
So I think you had something hanging out your leg.
So
Keys are on a bit of wood.
Journey. I decided it was time to go to bed. And then I didn't have my keys to sleep in my van. I hadn't set nothing up, no tent, no nothing. I literally just rolled up to Blazing Swan. I had to play a set, and then that journey started. And I was like,
I had keys once upon a time.
I went down. I was like, oh look, I'm gonna have to.
I remember thinking I was going to have to fucking play your set. I'm just like, where is he?
I went to the Anja Beats tent because I knew Paul Larkin would still be awake.
The public transport.
Which he was. So I went there and I was like, oh, mate, I was really depressed. I was like, I can't find my van keys, no more clothes, anything. It's all gone.
How am I going to tow my van all the way back to Perth?
Terrell came along. He was like, "You looking for your van keys?" I was just like, "Where were they?" He says, "Where I gave you that thing." And I was like, Makes sense. And yeah,
so it was like a swap. It's like, okay, I'll have
but
that.
It was a lot of hours where I didn't have any keys and I wouldn't have been able to get into my van. Out in the bush in the middle of nowhere.
That is the biggest thing you need to hold on to at Blazing Swan, car keys. No
Well,
car keys,
home,
no go.
Yeah, and your sanity as well is good to hang on to.
I don't take mine with me.
Yeah.
I end up losing it.
Yeah, true.
Marbles, plot, sanity, just leave all them. Just get all your fancy dress. Head into the woods.
And so we got Robert Furman. Like awesome listening to your stories and the passion for the music.
Rob comes to like most of our concept events.
Legend.
Isaac Lehman. Hats off for your passion and perseverance in such a D&B and house heavy city. We'll take over Melbourne soon as Australian techno capital. Thanks to everyone and their passion. Watch this space, I feel it coming.
Oh,
hard mode.
Nice one, mate.
Isaac Lehman again. Looking forward to a romantic getaway in a couple of weeks. Aaron McNamara.
Michelle,
romantic getaway.
We're heading down to play at a private party in Gracetown in
oh wow.
Time, yeah.
Oh, look at Murray throwing me under a bus. So about the car key situation, I have a story. Please my dad has a Hummer. And I had said to my dad, "Oh, I'm going camping with some friends. Can I borrow the Hummer?" So he was like, "Yeah." And like my dad's really anal, and I was like, "It's okay. I'll look after. I'm really responsible, you know. Like at the time I was 33, and so
age don't matter.
Second night,
once you get to the ladies,
second night,
how old you are, you're not going to be as fun.
I lost my dad's Hummer keys, and everything was locked inside the Hummer, and so. That was it for the whole week. I was trying to figure out how to get the Hummer back to Perth with no reception, without ringing him.
4 hours out.
Hey, Dad, like, just wondering if you got any spare keys. I ring back. I'm like, "Do you reckon you could bring my dad's spare keys?" And she's like, "How am I going to ask your dad if he's got spare Hummer keys?" I'm like, "Yeah, no, not
just slip into the conversation. Nice weather, isn't it? Got
and
spare keys.
The whole time I actually had been quite responsible, and I'd placed them into the tent. Like holder in like pocket. A change room pocket.
I found
and
so much stuff.
When I was packing away the end of the night, I was planning this whole getting it organised by RSC to tow it, and they were there the whole time. So on the on the morning of me leaving, when I was trying to figure it out, pulled them out. I was like, wow, all I needed to do was look for them during the daylight. But
that pocket in the tent, you throw it in there like when you finally got a bed or something. And I've rolled my tent up loads of times with that pocket full of stuff. Roll it back out again, next festival somewhere else. And it's like,
the music's just so good, I didn't even care. So, yeah.
She calls you the key losing queen.
All right, thanks, Murray. Yes, that's very true. I lose everything. It's very true. USBs, keys, you know it.
Yeah, I'm pretty bad and all.
But shout out to our concept guys. Yeah,
full crew.
Yeah, full crew.
Don't you lose anything when you got like 10 guys, eh?
Yeah. They can all look after something.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're looking forward to New Year's. So that's our next big thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's not far away. New Year's is
it's coming
just
up
around
really
the corner.
quick.
I know, mate. It's mad, isn't it?
Yeah, this year's
That year
flying.
went way too quick.
Yeah.
I reckon someone needs to do like a time check on that.
Yeah.
I reckon we got jibbed. That's about 6 months max.
Yeah.
So hopefully now, with like, hopefully
went
COVID
well
just
fast.
eventually fades away now, so we can just kind of get back to
I
like.
remember like everyone just moaning about 2020. It's just like, oh my god, when's that going to end? Like 2021.
It was actually really weird, like being inside.
2020 felt like forever, eh?
Being inside a venue at half
Fade up
capacity
for it,
was
isn't
just
it? Exactly.
awkward. Like
Yeah.
it's just uncomfortable, and like we know the clubs and the venues just struggled so bad.
That's
It
it.
So
affects-
bad
it
for,
affects our
for the
scene,
whole
like.
industry.
That's it, yeah.
Like, I've got friends back home, it's their job, it's their livelihood, and they do well from it, and all of a sudden, it's just no income.
One thing I just found so baffling though is when they had the raves out in the streets and stuff like that. It wasn't on the news or anything like that. Like no one really talked about it over here. Like I only found it from friends in England, like on Facebook and stuff like that.
I think there's like 11,000 cases a day in Ireland or something ridiculous at the
It's a bit
moment.
crazy now.
It's hectic over there, and like vaccinated, it's so complicated to like work it all out, you know?
Shit.
Strange times.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
I don't know if we have 11,000 people in Perth, but well,
Speaking of our time, mate.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
yeah,
we gotta wrap it up.
yeah.
Let's keep going.
thanks again for having us.
Honestly,
Yeah,
this
thanks
has been awesome. So much content, so much just chatting, shit talking, everything. Like,
It's me, it's all
Well,
Yeah,
it's over.
it's very
Like,
nice
it's
to
been a
meet
good
you guys.
episode, mate.
Yeah.
It's like an hour over.
yeah,
Half an hour.
yeah. Well,
Thanks everyone for listening.
thank you guys so much, and yeah, we'll get you guys back on definitely. It's like
Imagine if the whole crew was here, all 10 of us. You
Yeah.
need 10
we
hours.
could organise
Story
something.
time.
Yeah, that's
So it's a
it.
silly DJ
Different
story.
story time.
Just do a lap of that.
Well, yeah, that's it. We'll do that next time.
Oh, I could easily do a 2-hour show of that.
Yeah, that's what I was even thinking. It's like you gotta like maybe just get
Oh,
just you
just
on.
on.
Yeah.
so many silly
And then
stories.
same thing with you, Aaron, as well.
Aaron's probably got way
Yeah,
more.
just like get singles on, so you can actually get like all the good stories and stuff. Because
Because it's
it's
bedtime story mode. Or something. You
Yeah,
can just
that's-
release it.
Speaking of
Like,
bedtime story, I just want to say a quick,
Yeah,
quick
yeah,
shout out
there
to
you
my
go.
son Henry, who's probably
Oh,
who's
little
supposed to be staying up,
Henry.
but he's probably in bed now. But yeah,
I said it earlier. You
actually-
always knackered. He's on the couch,
I
right?
didn't get the chance, but yeah.
He actually has a little concept shirt that's this big.
oh really?
Yeah, so
I got
both,
one and all.
Yeah, Kate.
He gave me a little grey one for my
Oh,
little boy.
yeah,
yeah.
Same age. Our boys both look well similar.
Are you going to teach them to DJ, mate?
What's
Are you going
right?
to teach your kids to
Oh,
DJ?
fucking right, I am. Law.
Playing back to back. Back to back to back.
Kids are like 8 years old. Like, what are you doing with this kid? No, I know he's more
Henry back to back. Sorry. Yeah, I'm gonna.
Always.
As soon as I teach him how to do it, I'll get. On it. God said no or something. Right, your first tune. Come here. Come over here with Dad. I'll lift him up. I'll get him to play in front of about 1,000 people. Do the spin back, mate. Go
Won't
on.
even
That's
yeah.
it. Throw him in the deep end early.
Play that rolling tech house.
You're going to give him a vinyl? Going to give him a vinyl deck for his first day?
Give him
Oh,
the-
I'm gonna make you
show
give
you
him the
how to really
100s.
DJ.
Imagine how much money you'd spend on needles giving like a kid vinyl to play with.
Yeah, that's it. You know,
Don't break
scratching.
Daddy's Concord needles. You can smash around on some CDJs.
Yeah, that's
They're
it.
unbreakable,
Digital.
aren't they?
Yeah. Right. Well, thank you guys.
Nah, thank you both.
This has just
Thank you
been
very
so much
Thanks,
fun.
mate. Legend.
Yeah.
Really nice to meet both of you guys.
Yeah, and
you,
we'll
man.
definitely see you guys in the next year though. Definitely, without
Sounds
a doubt. All right, and
Yeah,
then
before you know it.
Damo makes us wave at the camera.
Well, how else are you going to know it's over?
Well, that's it, right? So, all right, we're finished, guys. So we'll see you next week with
Thank you very
a new
much.
guest. So, catch you.